Well, happy Thursday, everyone. Welcome to another live lawn care Q&A. My name is Ron Henry, and I am here to answer your lawn care questions. Now, if this is the first time you're joining us, welcome. We are super, super happy to have you here. The way this works is really simple. On your screen, you will see a chat box. In that chat box, you can enter your question, concern, your comment of the day, and I work through them in the order that they come in. Now, sometimes I have the answers, sometimes I do not. But either way, we have an awesome time talking about lawn care and sometimes life. Guys, I'm a bit out of sorts this evening. So you know we have Lee on as a guest tonight, and literally minutes before the show was about to start, I'll tell you guys what happened. Actually, let me minutes before the show's about to start, because we've been planning this for a while. His brother, Hayes, you guys have probably spoken to, shows up at the door, and just shows up at my front door, and I'm looking at his face, and I'm thinking, oh my God, Lee's been in an accident, or there's something terrible going on, because there's no reason why he would tell me that, there's no reason why if there's an internet problem or something going on where he can't make the show, that he just wouldn't call or text. So, again, I'm normally not someone that's lost for words. You guys know me. I can talk about pretty much anything a lot, and so what reason why he showed up and was to bring me a mower, believe it or not. And I am so lost for words. Again, Lee, thank you so much. You guys want to see it? They gift wrapped it and all kinds of stuff. I mean, that's it. That's the Revolution 26 that they brought by, that Hayes brought by, your Rose brought by for me. Literally, that video you're looking at is like less than 10 minutes old. Literally before the live stream started, I just shot that. So Lee, I'm gonna hand it over to you because I'm not really sure what to say. Again, thank you so much. I'm really looking forward to seeing how the Revolution does. I know the launch is happening. So yeah.
No, first, man, for those of you that don't know, the reason behind that was, this week, like I said, last week, we got an enormous amount of mowers in that we're processing and getting out the door. And out of nowhere, Saturday morning, somebody shows up and it's Ron, not being asked, not asking for a favor, not calling in the lefty. But out of nowhere, Ron shows up with work gloves on and he said, "How can I help? What can I do?" And he didn't only do that on Saturday. He spent 8 hours with us on Saturday. I was dog tired. We were all dog tired, trying to go through the mowers and make sure everything's perfect before we ship them out. But then, as he's about to leave around 4 or 5 o'clock on Saturday, he says, "Well, when do we start again tomorrow?" And I was like, "Oh, Ron, like I'm kind of worn down." But sure enough, he had some obligations, brunch, I believe it was, with the family. And he said, "Hey, I'm going to work here until they call me for brunch, till everybody's up." And that was, 11, 12, whatever time it was, but it was another 4, 5, 6 hours because we started early. So it just goes to say how kind you are. And people don't know it, that, you do anything for anybody. We've been good friends. And the fact that you came out and helped us in a crunch, just another set of hands willing to do whatever it took, it meant the world to me, my wife, Ashley, Hayes, Isaac, the whole group, my kids, everybody's out here trying to chip in. So I just want to say thank you. That was not a plan. It truly came up Saturday night at dinner at home when my wife brought it up, Ashley, and she said, Ron came out of here out of nowhere. So what can we do for him? And I thought, the best thing that we can do is thank him by giving you a mower. I know you have that little swell beside the driveway that the True Cut's struggling on right now with his clutch. So just glad to have you as a friend and just appreciate you coming and putting everything aside and coming and helping. So thank you, really, thank you.
No, I mean, again, it's I like wrench down stuff. So it
You
was
did a lot.
fun. It was fun. It was fun building a bunch of mowers. So it's yeah, no, no, man. Here's the thing. Um, I know how much the revolution means to you, like how much work you put into it over the years, and just planning about it when it was just a sketch, and all the revisions you made in the last 12 months. A lot of them that I didn't, stuff that I didn't even share or didn't talk about, because I know how big a deal it was. So whenever the mowers all showed up, and I knew there was a big crunch time, people were waiting on the mowers, they wanted them. I mean, again, I used to be a mechanic. I like turning wrenches, so it was fun to wrench on a lot of mowers for a while. So you guys are gonna like it. It's a nice bit of kit. It's well built, nicely solidly built piece of equipment. And again, I can't thank you enough. I am genuinely shocked. I literally thought you were like in a car accident or something when your brothers. I'm like, so this is what it feels like when the cops show up whenever a loved one is like in an accident or something, because I'm looking at your brother. I'm like, why are you here? If you're here, this is not good. Lee did not text me. This is bad. We're like 10 minutes from the
No,
live stream. This is not going to be a good day. So
no, that's great. I
yeah.
appreciate you having me on the show, and you now know the mower as well as any of us.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Definitely. I can build a revolution in 8 minutes, like out of the box to ready to go. 8 minutes, good to go. I can tell you, I know them all really well.
That's
So yeah.
good.
Okay, guys. So kicking off the show, we're coming to you guys as always live. YouTube is our primary platform. Instagram, if you want to be part of the show, feel free to chime in, and you can also chime in on Meta, on Facebook, and also on Twitter. I'm going to take questions as always, and then as we go through the show, if you guys have any questions about the revolution, I know there's people are going to be picking up locally. There's motors going to get ready to be shipped out. So feel free to chime in, because we got Leon here. You can ask him all kinds of questions, guys. If it were me, I would ask him about the turf park party. That's what one of the things I would bring up. I'm just putting it out there. So that's going to be happening soon. And all right, so let's get into it. So our first of all, we got a super chat. Let's start off first of all with Mr. Chris Style 405. He says,
Super chat received.
his true or false: can lawn fungus be transported on lawn equipment? Yeah, lawn. I mean, disease can be transported by lawn equipment. Weeds can be transported by lawn equipment. I mean, if you walk around, I mean, depending on the disease you're dealing with, if you walk around on parts of the lawn that are infected and you walk over into an area that's not, you can transport them. So yeah, disease can absolutely be transported by equipment. This is a big part of whenever you aerate your lawn. Like, this is the time of year when people are looking to do lawn aeration. If you're having a service do that, it makes a lot of sense to, whenever they show up, I mean, not trying to be rude, but to rinse the equipment off, rinse the tines off before you put it on your lawn. If you're renting a piece of equipment, say from one of the big box stores, same thing. Rinse it, give it a good rinse down before you put it on your lawn, because you don't really know where that equipment's been. And it absolutely can transfer weeds on a good level, but disease certainly can also be transferred by equipment. So great question, Chris. Thank you so much for the super chat. Because you are our first super chat, you are now the show sponsor. So you can see your name in lights for whatever that means to you guys. I am like still so lost for words. Can't even type well, but again, there you go, Chris. Thank you so much. Really do appreciate it. Hopefully that helps answer your question as far as disease in your lawn. So yeah, keeping your equipment clean is important. Another thing to keep in mind is, like you talked about a mower, but let's say you have a disease problem in your lawn. Because I've had this in years past. I've had like some large patch, and what I would do is the areas of the lawn that have the problem, if you can, mow those areas last. So like in my case, when I had large patch in the back lawn, I would mow the front lawn first, and then I would move to the back lawn. So that way you just, even though you could technically rinse the mower off, reduce the chance of you transporting the problem somewhere else. So if you got an area that's a problem area, mow that area last if you can. So cool, man. Great question. So Lee, while I look for the next comment, up next is, so the Revolution 26. So it's been a while coming. So tell us about it. Tell us about some of the improvements that have been made in the mower since when it was first spoken about. Wow, it's coming up on a year now, like August, September last year, to where the mower is now. It's about to go out the door.
Well, sure. So yeah, today, I guess it was last week, we received about 260 of them, and the local pickups are coming through and picking them up. We had about 25 people come today. We have another 20 to 30 tomorrow, and then also on Saturday and Sunday. So it's been a full house. But the Revolution, truly came out of a need from our perspective. Always have loved reel mowing, as probably many of you know. And I guess we found ourselves one day realizing that, we kept making accessories and parts to make the traditional homeowner reel mowers a little bit better and easier to use. And then we got to a point where sometimes supply chain would be a struggle for us to support the market, support folks who are into reel mowing. We thought, we learned in the past that if we can take control of some of those factors, we can deliver a better product and a more timely product. So kind of went to the drawing board about a year and a half ago, probably 2 years by now, 2 years ago. And when we originally launched the mower, we had tested it all summer long. We knew functionality-wise, the reel was great, the drive was great, the mower is going to be a great mower, the changes that we had made. But there were still a few things as we kind of went into that first stage of production that I saw opportunities to make the mower even better. And it was really a really tough decision, especially in January. That was when we said we were going to be delivering the mowers. And me and the team had to make a decision. I guess it was mid-December, late December, that we had 3 or 4 things that we wanted to tweak to make it better. And that included, one of the things was, I have a slope at my house, and I have to mow the slope at it sideways. I don't go straight up and down it because it's just so long. To go sideways, it's easier than going up and down 10 feet and turning around 700 times. I'd rather go the long way. And traditionally, my mowers on the chain side would always cut lower on that hill. And it's because I found out later, the mowers really weren't balanced left to right. So even if I wasn't technically on a slope and I had some dense turf, I was going to be cutting lower because that weight on the clutch or chain side of the mower tended to be heavier. So I immediately, after mowing, went back to the house or to the shop, and we started weighing the Revolution. We started to see, hey, is this truly centered in weight? And what we found is it wasn't. It was a little heavier on the chain side, which you would assume, and the clutch side, which is the left side in your operator position. So we shifted the Honda engine over as far as we could to the opposite side, still being able to put the handlebars down. And turned out we still were heavy on the one side. So then we built a bulletproof 8-pound side plate on the side that was the lightest. And we dialed that mower in perfectly. Now, that was something I could have done in December and January and provided to customers in April, May, June, or probably it'd been more like May or June. But, as a consumer, I would hate to buy and be part of the first run of mowers and, show my loyalty to the product and show my loyalty to reel rollers and believe in us. And then find out 2 months later, customers were getting really a better product. Sure. So we had to make the really hard, I mean, it was such a hard decision because we made a promise that we'd have them in January. But there were these things. That was one feature that we added. We wanted to create a tool to make adjusting the reel bed knife easier and convenient, something that we found with the Swordman. Swordman brought a little toolkit with every mower. We're like, hey, we should do something like that. We wanted to make directional fins. So one of the pet peeves I have, if I am not mowing as much as I should, guilty, and I want to use the grass catcher, I can't stand going 15 feet and having to shuffle the grass every 10 feet to the other side of the grass catcher. It just drove me crazy. So we wanted to go out and make sure that we had directional fins coming off the grass shield to make sure that it was a completely even dispersion across the grass catcher. So that was something else I didn't want to launch later. I wanted to launch with this mower and give it to every customer, not just those that waited a little bit later to buy the product.
Makes sense.
The last thing that we did was we found out that the sprockets and the chains, not found out, but realized how important it was, that they were a British standard. And I know that seems like a little thing, but for one of our landscapers who was using our product, they were looking to get a backup master link for their chain. And they went to Ace Hardware and they found out, they said, hey, they don't have them in stock. So we said, time out, rebuild all the sprockets and all the chains. They need to be American standards, which is like the 39 or the 40 and the 41 size chains, so that in the event a customer breaks a chain or just needs a simple master link, they don't have to go to some weird website and try to buy them. They can get them that day and get it from any hardware store. So it's little things that we just wanted to make sure we did right.
Yeah, and it's true. You know, you look at the what the mowers become, and it's got people have asked, the emailed and have asked me, what is so great about the Revolution? I said, well, one, at the price point, imagine all the good parts of what make greens mowers awesome, and also the convenience and robustness that you get out of and just the ease to live with of more commercial or home mowers. And the Revolution really melds both of those worlds. Like you look at the grass catcher, having the fins, my Owlet has that, and it makes a huge difference. And not to have that in a mower that is a fraction of the price point is just it's a big deal. You know what I mean? To your point, you get that big grass catcher. It stinks to have to make a pass and then stop and shift the grass catcher. It's if you mow enough, you'll know what I'm talking about. It's a complete hassle. So yeah, I'm glad to see that you took the time to get it right. I think overall the market's is going to like that better than taking the other approach of having different revisions of it. Yeah.
And I have to say, we have this Facebook page for the folks that own the Revolution that it's amazing because we've been able to ask them questions about the mower while it was coming to the market on a few tweaks and changes. And it was amazing to see the reception. Sure, some people were like, hey, I wanted my mower in January, but by far, I would say 95% plus were like, hey, that was the right decision. I don't want to wait, but I'm glad you made that decision, which was really encouraging to know that we made the right choice. To have the customers who have put their money into the product were saying, hey, I'm willing to wait. It's worth the wait. That was a good call. Again, not everybody, but by far 95+%. It made us feel a lot better because you always wonder, once you commit, you commit.
Right.
So,
no, I get it. Well, that's good.
I always want to do
good.
the right thing over anything else. Yeah.
Awesome. All right, so we got a couple more questions we can run through here, guys. And if you are on Instagram, because I can't have the audio playing or it creates an echo problem, come over to YouTube if you want to see a lot of the stuff that we're talking about, at least while Lee's here. And okay, so let's show me some of the questions. Jason Harrison says, a bit of levity. Are we concerned about the cicada apocalypse emerging from the south? I don't know. Should we be worried about it? I'm sure they can do a lot of damage pretty quickly, but I guess whatever will be, will be. A few years ago it was army worms, and we survived that, so it'll be all right. Next up, we got Theo. He says, seeing this image makes me wish I'd bought a Revolution back in September. Looking forward to this. Yeah, man, it's a good bit of kit, and I'm not just saying that. I mean, it's you know me. There's not really a mower, definitely not a real mower that I've ever come across that I didn't like. I mean, it's a real mower, so it's already a cut above. But if I always say the nice thing about the Revolution is you can tell people that actually designed the mower. Because all the things that you hate about different mowers, if you get to use them, they've been fixed in this one. They're easier. I mean, as far as backlapping, it's as easy as it gets. So I mean, a lot of things that are just kind of a hassle when it comes to real mowing are are solved in this. So I can't wait till you guys get out there and beat on it and put some miles on them and have some fun with it. I think you're really gonna like it. It's a good mower. You guys have been asking me if I were in the market for a mower today, what would I buy? And it would be a Revolution. Absolutely. I wouldn't buy a True Cut because you can't get parts for them. Like my mower has been broken since December. I've had a clutch ordered since December and I can't get it. So that's a no-go. Mower you can't get parts for is no good. So next up we got Jesse Snow saying, good evening, everyone. What's going on, Jesse? And then Devin is up next. He says, what's up, Ron? Looking forward to some good turf talk. Second day using the Greensmaster 1000 on the lawn, 2 weeks after top dressing. The yard is looking sweet. Can't wait to share some photos. You got to send the pictures, man. Where are they? Or are you holding out? You wait until it's like pristine before you show it? I get it. You're sandbagging. I get it. All right, so we have one for Lee. Gabrielle Harry says, hey, Lee, looking forward to picking up the Revolution mower tomorrow. I ordered a power rotary scissors to make sure my edges match my stripes. Sweet. So people can actually, if they're local, they can come and pick the mower up at the shop. You guys are working that out?
They can. Yep. Gabriel's on our list, and he emailed us this morning throwing a rotary scissors with my order, and I'll be there tomorrow. So looking forward to seeing you.
Nice. Next up, we got T1000 saying, oh yeah, it's going down. It's going down, guys. Like, here's the thing. Here's the thing. I've been doing YouTube not for a really long time, but long enough that I've made a lot of the content several times over for the things that I wanted to make content about, which is why you guys are seeing a little bit less of like the long form stuff. But now I got a mower. I got a whole new catalog of content will be coming here soon. So I'm excited. I am excited about it. We'll see. We'll see how it's definitely going to be on slope duty because it works great. So we'll see, man. The GM 1000, she might, or 1600, she might, we'll see which girl gets the most runtime. All right.
That's the dream. Like if you convert away from the GM on the front hill, that we won.
It could happen. I mean,
it could happen.
It could happen.
You don't have to.
It could happen. I got to tell you, like, I mean, there's not a ton in it on the back lawn. You guys, the video I did where I mowed with the Greensmaster and then I mowed with the Revolution, and there's not really a lot in it between the two mowers. There really isn't, and the convenience is really nice. So we'll see. It's definitely gonna go. Put it on the front lawn. We're gonna, we'll do a side by side. We'll put it out there. No punches. All right, DeMarcus Thomas says, greetings, Ron and crew. Have a great Turf Talk Thursday. Gonna do our best. And the next up is Jeff. He says, love them real mowers. The mechanics of them are amazing. They are cool. I mean, they are. It's a relatively simple machine. It's a precision machine that is simple. That's what I'd say. They're not really terribly complicated once you have them set up properly. But yeah, what it does, nothing cuts quite like a real mower in my opinion. All right, Chris Dada says, I checked out the Revolution the other day. Very solid mower. The front roller and rear treads are impressive. Once sets up the trade-in program, I can bring in my True Cut. Yeah, I don't know. You have to ask about that. I don't know anything about a trade-in program. I don't know what Lee's going to do with hundreds and hundreds of mowers at his shop, but doesn't hurt to ask. Yep. All right, next up we have, how do you get St. Augustine grass out of my Bermuda lawn? How do you get St. Augustine grass out of my Bermuda lawn? Excellent. Great question, Longuido. Okay, so that problem is easier to solve than the other way around, although you can solve that problem now too. We just don't have the product as yet. So removing St. Augustine selectively from Bermuda, you can do with a herbicide called quinclorac. So it's a selective herbicide. Bermuda tolerates it very well. So Bermuda, fescue, or tall fescue, ryegrass, Kentucky bluegrass, zoysia, they all tolerate quinclorac very well. It's also excellent for removing crabgrass, but centipede grass and St. Augustine do not. So if you spray quinclorac on a St. Augustine lawn, you're going to kill it. You're going to damage it and or kill it. So on the golf course lawn store, because people have been asking for it, we finally started carrying quinclorac. So if you go to, if I can make this happen, yep. If you go to shop and then weed killer, you will now see quinclorac. There you go. 75 DF comes with a measuring cup. There's also a kit that includes marker dye, surfactant, and the actual herbicide. This is what you're going to want to use to selectively remove St. Augustine out of your Bermuda lawn. And again, if you have crabgrass, like quinclorac is excellent. It's a great product. I mean, for crabgrass, that torpedo grass, signal grass, it's a quality option if that's what you are, if that's what you're going for. So yeah. So hope that helps. I'll send you a link here in the chat as far as where you can pick it up. And yeah, that is what I would go with for removing St. Augustine out of Bermuda, which is really cool. Great question. If you need anything else, definitely let me know. And again, incidentally, like as far as removing Bermuda or the other way around, if you had a St. Augustine lawn that you loved and you had Bermuda encroaching in it, there wasn't an easy way to do that. There's a new herbicide combination from Syngenta, Recognition, and Fusilade. It should be available for mass distribution here soon, but that combination allows you to do the opposite. It allows you to remove Bermuda out of St. Augustine, Bermuda out of Zoysia. So that's going to be available soon. So stay tuned for that. All right. Next up, we have, let's see here. We got Colin in the house. C. Pims. He says, "What's up, Ron and Lee? I guess I missed the live stream announcement tonight, but I'm here." Yeah, man. We had to move it to tonight. Scheduling. And the next up is Fresh Apple. So Lee, while I look for the next comment, so all the other Revolutions come with the GX engine, the Honda GX engine, 160, right? Why? I know there were some options for like the Briggs or some other engine options. Why did you really want to settle on the GX versus some of the other engine options?
It's a good question. You know, the reality of it is the market wants the GX engine, from what we hear. Never had a problem with the GX engine. And one of the things we wanted to do with our experience in selling every brand of reel mower and parts was to truly simplify supply chain. You know, a lot of people talk a lot about supply chain. And then when you offer 18, 20 different variations of a product, especially from the get-go, it becomes really, really difficult to manage the supply chain and deliver on your promises for mowers, parts. And we want to make sure that we do that perfectly.
Right.
So to offer a Honda, a Briggs, to offer smooth roller, grooved roller, grocery cart wheels, like all those things are nonsense. Like we've been doing this long enough where I truly believe we put together the very best mower for people who have reel mowed before with other mowers. I really believe that they can appreciate everything that we did and can truly be like, hey, you know what? I don't see a feature that I wouldn't have done myself if I could build my own Genie. And I think that was our goal.
Yep. Cool. Yeah. I mean, you're right. Because at this point, you think about it, if you bought a True Cut, you had to call up your rollers to get a roller for it. If you got a McLean, same thing. If you got a trimmer, you have to get an order roller. This thing comes with the roller of rollers. It's so how many pounds is it? 10, 12 pounds? How many pounds is the roller, the front roller?
It's 18 pounds.
Yeah. So massive.
I just got to see a video by Doc where I guess with the McLean, you put your hands under it. I don't know if you saw that one yesterday, but he called out our roller subtly called out our roller and said, you don't need a heavy roller. You just need to put your hands under the mower to keep it grounded. I've never seen somebody mow like that.
I respect. I mean, I respectfully disagree because a mower that is, if anything, a front heavy mower, in my opinion, is a real mower anyway, is better than one that is rear bias, because the mower is going to come off the ground. You're going to get inconsistent cutting. It can cause scalping because as it comes up and it goes back down, it's not like it's going to go back down and stop. It's going to dip and then rebound, which is going to cause scalping problems. So that's, you think about it. You think about like part of what makes like a greens mower cut so well is they're very well balanced. Like you put a Greensmaster on your turf, it settles in and it just runs. It isn't balanced, it doesn't move around, and the Revolution has that same feel to it. So I respectfully disagree. A mower that is well balanced and one where the front does not come up is gonna cut better. It just is. All right. So next up is Jonathan Lee. It's a super cool gesture by the Real Rollers team. Classy move. Yeah, dude, listen, Jonathan, I mean, again, not making this up, like literally his brother shows up at the front door and I am thinking the absolute worst. I did not expect this. Hopefully you guys can see that. I had no idea that this was going to happen. My plan was that whenever some more mowers became available in some of the other shipments, I was going to pick one up. You know what I mean? Because I mean, again, my True Cut's been down for so long and I needed to get another mower. So that really was my plan, but awesome. And again, lost for words. It's funny,
thank you.
No, go ahead.
I can't say it enough. I know. I'm just saying thank you. Like really, like that's a classy move by you. They say classy move. It's so on point. Like out of nowhere to drop your entire weekend and come help us out out of nowhere. Like it was never planned. You never said you were coming. You literally just showed up at the door on a Saturday, which were closed. And I was like, I wonder what Ron's doing here. You had your mechanic. I didn't know you were a mechanic either. That was something I learned about you.
Yep.
I didn't know in
Went
your
to
previous life.
wrenching. Yeah, believe it or not, like my story is funny. Like when I was back home, like when I was a teenager in the Caribbean for till I moved to the States to come to go to school. I was a mechanic like for 4 years. 4 years I worked as a like I turned wrenches, and the reason why I even ended up here because my aunt who lives in Houston came down to visit one time. She says, "What are you gonna do with your life?" I'm like, "I don't know. I'm just gonna wrench on cars and have fun and enjoy that." She says, "Why don't you come to the States and go to school and maybe see what else you might have going for you?" And came up here, and the rest is history. But it never like the love for mechanical things never went away. Like if you look at my channel before, I did like really focus on grass. I've owned a lot of fast cars and just I enjoy turning. I like working on my hands. So the Revolution was fun. It was fun. It was fun wrenching on it. You're like, oh, we got hundreds of mowers and tools. Let's go. It was you thought it was work. I really enjoy turning wrenches. I like working on my hands. It's fun stuff.
Third day of 12 hours, I was like, okay, this is work. It was fun.
Yeah, it was good. I mean, it's like I thought to myself, it's like the mowers aren't gonna build themselves. We gotta, it's gotta happen. So, all right. He says, "Wow, it's a cool gesture." Lee and Ron, yep, definitely. And Jonathan says, "More hands to make work less." It is true. It is true. We had like an assembly line going, man. It was time flew by. And Mary J says, "I ordered my mower in September. What's the word on shipping?"
Very fair question. So we have 18-wheelers sitting outside of our shop right now that we're filling. So we're hoping to get the pickup of the entire 18-wheeler on Monday. So they're going to take as many as they can. And then Tuesday should be our final day. And we should, knock on wood, have all the mowers out the door by Tuesday. That's the goal. We've got all the local pickups. We've gotten through about 175 of them. So I feel pretty confident. We'll be doing it all weekend. So we think Monday, Tuesday, mowers will be out and emails will be to people with tracking numbers. So thank you, Mary.
Yep, great question. So Mary, yep, sounds like early next week. All right, we got a couple more super chats. Let's go and grab those really quick. Actually, before we do the super chats, I normally clap it up whenever people get to new equipment. I got some new hardware, so where's my sound effects? Where is my soundboard? I gotta clap it up for myself. I can't even find it now. There we go. So, congrats to myself.
Is this the first?
Dude, here's the thing. It's funny. Whenever I came back inside from doing that quick video, like one of my family members that are here, they were talking to me. They said, yeah, we've gotten you gifts. We've never given you a mower. We're never going to be able to top this. I'm like, hey, I got to tell you, like, you give a man a mower, it's kind of a big deal. I mean, you can buy other gifts, but this is up there. This is up there. I've never been given anything like that before. And again, it's just it's really cool. So again, thank you so much. All right, so a question we have here. First of all, we got a question from D-Shaw on Instagram saying, "Hey, Ron, I received my backpack spare today. Should the lights on the battery light up when charged?" I don't think so. I have to look. I don't think so. D-Shaw. I'll have to look and see, but I don't believe so off the top of my head. I don't remember that being a thing. I don't think so. So yeah. Couple of super chats, and then we'll go to the next question about the next version of the Revolution coming out. We got one from Stuart Dukakis. Thank you so much.
Super chat received.
He says, "Lee, huge thanks from all of the Revolution 26 owners. Ordered opening day. Let the revolution begin." Nice. And then another question in the super chat.
Super chat received.
"I'd like to ask if you still plan to deliver some in person." This is a question for you, Lee, I think.
No, that was absolutely one of the goals, but with some of the delays, I felt like it would be more important that we got the mowers to you sooner than seeing us show up in the 18 van. I would love to do it. I just feel like that may delay delivery, and I just feel like right now with the grass growing, the ever-ending hour clock with the sand going down, we just want to get the mowers to you guys as soon as possible. So I doubt we'll be doing that on this run. Just want to get them to you guys. I feel guilty enough.
Gotcha. So maybe in the future, but right now, this one is getting them out the door is the priority. All right, so we have a question now or a comment from Payush Dimri. Says, "I'm really waiting for the electric revolution. What say you? Is there a battery-powered revolution?"
There definitely is in the works of one. Discussions, let's say the discussions. Be interested to see how the trimmer does this year. They launched a new electric reel mower, so interested to see how that goes. I know your Alette is amazing, but it's at a pretty good price point. So something in the price point for homeowners, we want to pursue that. But right now, it's not the top priority. I think we have some other mowers in mind that we want to get to first. I think that'll be a little bit down the road. So not in the short term. I can feel pretty good about that. It won't be in 2025. That I do know.
Gotcha. Yeah. I mean,
2026.
and to kind of to segue to add on to that, electric mowers, like if to do electric mowers right, in my opinion, like the my Outlet, I love that mower, and the reason why is that it runs off of a commercial battery system. So it runs on 80 volts. It takes 3 of the 80-volt batteries, and that mower runs great. I can mow my entire back lawn like twice on a single charge. Runs really well. The thing you got to realize though is like those batteries, each one of those batteries, I haven't priced them lately, but each one of those batteries is like $500, like right in that area. So you're talking about three, so it's $1,500 just in batteries. And the charger, you need 2 chargers to charge them all at the same time, or is like another $300 each. So you're getting close to the thick end of $2,000 on top of the price of the mower. And so that's something to keep in mind. Like one of the criticisms, like while I love the Sterling, it's a great mower. Mowers that are running off of like the home system, the home battery system, the runtime doesn't tend to be as good. So the one thing I'd say, if Lee were asking me, hey, I'm going to do battery powered mower, I say, hey, listen, if you can do it, it's got to be off of like a commercial battery system, whether it be Egos or Greenworks. And I say all that to say that it's going to be expensive. It's going to be way more than the Revolution is. Even I think just for the mower, and even if just for you have to run it to buy everything, all the equipment, like chargers, batteries, all this kind of stuff, it's not going to be cheap. So just something to keep in mind. Batteries are cool. Like I love my Outlet, awesome piece of equipment, but to do it right is not inexpensive. So something to consider. All right, Colin's up next. He says, Lee, also thank you for helping me getting the groove roller for my McLean. Loving it so far. Can't wait till the yard is in full grow mode to see the awesome stripes. Nice.
Thank you. That's great.
We got Mark Romano up saying, likes are free. That's true, guys. We have 112 people in the live stream so far and only 42 likes. Now, we can do better than that. I mean, surely you guys are as excited as I am about having a guest on and it being it's summertime, getting close to we're in the springtime, getting ready to get out there and have fun in the lawn. So if you want to support the live stream, costs you absolutely nothing, free to do. Hit the like button. As Mark's leading the charge, hit the like button. Likes are free. Doesn't even cost you a mower, doesn't cost you anything on the store. It's a great way to support the channel. All right, Raham says, I can't wait for my pickup appointment tomorrow. Cool. So a lot of guys locally are getting them. And then next we got Mark Luna says, hey, Ron and Lee, I can't wait for my Revolution to arrive. And he says, I'll keep the True Cut for now, but my son-in-law is excited to get the McLean as a hand-me-down. Wait, how many mowers do you have, man? So you're getting a Revolution, you have a True Cut, and you're getting them, and you have a McLean you're going to give. Okay, all right, well, I'm not the only one. All right, next up is Kevin D. Jones. He says, Ron is the best and gives so much. I get to pick up my Revolution on Sunday. I won't be able to mow for 4 months due to surgery. Lee, you and your team are great in support. High five to Isaac. Again.
Isaac, unsung hero. Isaac's amazing. Thank you for saying that, Kevin, because Isaac has been the man behind the Revolution, managing the orders, helping customers. Just amazing. Can't say enough about Isaac. He's been great.
Next up, we got Steven Johnson.
I'm still at the shop. He's still working. I mean, he's still going through mowers. Like, the determination and the focus on this is untouched and unmatched. And Isaac has been getting here at 6 a.m. and leaving at 7, 8, 9 p.m. Like, just, it's all effort, and it's really awesome. It's out of excitement, Yeah,
well, I mean, you have to. I mean, right now is crunch time. I mean, you got all the mowers in. You got to want to get them out. You want to make sure, go through in QC, make sure everything is good. And it's just it's not gonna be like this forever. But there's sometimes you just got to do the work, right? So. The way it is. All right, Brian Hall is up next. Is hello, Ron, and the chat. It is super rainy here in Michigan. Grass will be greener soon. Nice, Brian. We're sending all wishes your way. Talking about green grass. I mean, as far as rain goes, we've been having a lot of rain here in Georgia. I went out and shot some video this afternoon of the lawn, so you guys can see the current state. If I can actually find it. Yeah, here we go. So this is the front lawn. You can see the color is, I think that's pretty good for the first part of April, moving on to mid-April. As you see, it's filling in nicely. Color looks great. Stripe action's on point. And we'll transition from that to the back lawn. Also a rainy day today. But again, color's coming in. It's filling in nicely. Very, very happy. The lawn is further ahead this time of year than it has been in years past. Color looks great. And it's funny. I'm playing with something. That I'll probably make some content at some point later on in the season that folks with Bermuda lawns I think are gonna get some value out of. So I'm not gonna talk about it yet because I'm still testing it. But so far the results, based on what I'm seeing in the back lawn, are very, very promising. So I'll stay tuned. Stay tuned for that. That's gonna be coming later on in the season. All right. Ant Live says, "Hey Ron, just the irrigation system for my Bermuda last week. You just installed one, I guess. And now I'm getting my lawn leveled on May 1st and receive my soil test. When can I put down my Essential G and carbon kit?" Great question, Ant Live. I would do the Essential G as part of the top dressing. So if you have a service coming out and doing it, I would do the Essential G the day before. That would be a good time to do that. And then also, if you're going to be spraying the carbon kit, I'm not sure which carbon kit you got. If you have the Release 901C carbon kit, I would also spray that the day before. Reason being is you'll spray that. The little extra nitrogen you're giving the grass is going to help it grow through the top dressing material a little bit faster. So the answer to both questions would be the day before. Essential G first, followed by the carbon kit, and then I'll let them top dress, and then just be patient, wait and wait for the awesomeness of your new lawn. That's how I would do it. Hope that helps. Really good, man. You're right. May is the time for, at least if you're in the Southeast, that's opening up the window for top dressing. So yeah, you're absolutely doing it right. And I think if you follow that plan, I know if you follow that plan, you're gonna get a good result. On the turf park this year, Lee, any plans for top dressing this year? Or you guys are probably so busy. I don't know if you're gonna make time for it.
Yeah, we did it last year with a mix. It was a compost and sand mix,
Mm-hmm.
and I wasn't totally thrilled, not with the work, but with the actual material that
Sure.
came through. We ended up getting a lot of weeds, and it was kind of discouraging. So this year we're going to go with just a sand. So we're just going to top dress with sand, and we're going to level everything out. I think we're
Nice.
on the calendar for June 11th, from
Nice.
the guys at North Georgia Top Dressing. So they're going to be coming out again. Again, they do great work. It wasn't them. It seemed like we got one bad scoop that went on our first zoysia plot,
Mm-hmm.
and it just, I think you remember it. It just blew up with weeds, and I was just
Oh yeah.
kind of devastated because it was June and it was like time to get going, and it wasn't what I wanted to look like. So this year, we will be doing we'll do a sanding only on the turf park, and then I think we'll kind of go from there.
Sure. Sounds like a plan. All right.
We
Next
need to
up.
spray out the ryegrass. That's the big thing right now. That's what I
Oh, the
was looking at the
ryegrass.
cameras.
Yeah. It
Yeah, it's
looks
time to
beautiful,
spray out
but
the
yeah.
ryegrass.
When
It looks
when
amazing.
is the plan to do that? Is it you're thinking before like May sometime, or you're
I'm
not sure
thinking
when?
I'm thinking like in the next couple of weeks. Once we get
Okay.
the mowers out, I think I'm going to focus. We didn't want a bunch of customers coming to the shop and seeing the dead grass, the dead ryegrass. So we wanted to show it off for another week. Then we'll start to spray
Sure.
it out.
Sure. All right. Cool. So we have another question here. This one is from Mr. Alex Alex, I was butchering your last name. Ristano. I think that's correct. He says, "Hey Ron, emailed you over a photo. I'm getting long, narrow strips of clumps of lime green grass. I was thinking chlorosis, but now I'm thinking that's not it. So what, pray tell, the lime green grass do you have in your lawn?" Let's take a look here for the gallery. Um, and bear in mind, it's still early in the season, Alex, but this is picture one that he sent. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it definitely is a different color to the rest of the lawn. Alex, some questions I'd have for you. Have you already have you fertilized yet for this season? Have you I don't know. I mean, it looks like it's just lagging behind, a little bit. 'Cause it looks like it's the same grass type, but it just is just color. I mean, that area I've seen light areas in grass like what you're seeing for a couple of different ways. If you if the grass isn't getting enough nutrient, it can cause that problem. If you're over watering the grass or it's just raining a lot and that area is staying wet, that can also cause that lime green color, that discoloration that you're seeing. So I'm not sure which one of those might be true in your case. Again, keep in mind that we're still early in the season, so the lawn can, or not lawn, but the lawn likely will grow through that. We're really only the first part of April. By May, 3 weeks from now, the lawn's really going to wake up, and I think a lot of what you're seeing there is going to clear up. Again, assuming it's not like an excessive watering issue or a nutrient problem. So just without having a lot more background context, that's what I'm thinking. But again, if you want to shoot me an email and give me any more info that I might need, let me know, and I'll feel free to email you back once the show's over. So I think it's going to be fine. Lawn will definitely grow through it. Jonathan Lee says, best things are worth waiting for. I agree. And it's just better. I mean, because think about it. If I'm a customer, like I think you're talking about, like whenever the Revolution was launched announced last year, if I'm a customer, I ordered it in September and then it was delivered in January. And then in April, like Revolution 27 comes out, you know what I mean? With all this cool stuff. I'm going to be like, yo, what the Hades? Like, why didn't you could have just waited, you know what I mean? So, it was the right waiting to put out a better product is almost I can't think of a situation where that's really not going to be a better decision, especially at least in the long term. It's going to be a better play. So yeah. All right. Next up, we have Danny here. Holzer says, I agree. I would much rather wait a couple of months and get a mower with upgrades it should have. So now that's a good question, Lee. So some of the things that changed. Between the Revolution, between the original mower with the original designs to where the Revolution ended up now, like I think that one of the initial revisions, you couldn't disable the reel independent of the mower moving, this type of thing. So why did you find that to be important? Like, what was that? I guess I know that was something you put some time and thought into as far as whether you should do that or not.
Yeah, definitely. That was probably one of the most important things that we made on this mower were the ability to control your ground speed independent of the reel.
Nice.
One,
Yeah.
but two, being able to move the mower from front yard to backyard, garage to turf without having to spin the reel. I just don't see where that makes sense, to be honest. And it's one of the things that I loved about my True Cuts, loved about the Swordman, loved about the Alette, like certain mowers, love about a rotary mower. The ability to move the mower, whether you want to load it on a trailer, take it from the front yard to backyard, you should have that ability to stop the reel and be able to still use the mower's power to move the mower. But that also means you have the ability to control your speed as well. When you get into tight areas or you want to climb a hill at a different speed than you want to do a straightaway, that's all just a lever. It's a bail on the back, just like a rotary mower would be. And it's super comfortable and super easy. So that was a huge thing, but we didn't want to sacrifice the chain. So having an all chain system also super critical to us. And then a rear drum. We wanted a rear drum. Again, going back to the True Cut, which I love the True Cut, don't get me wrong, but there were some areas where we wanted to improve that mower for what's become a lot of landscapers too. This mower's become very, very popular with the landscapers because they can disconnect or disengage the reel from the ground drive and load it on their trailers. And also that rear drum that's very, very important to them with chains. We have, I would say, I don't know, just a lot of mowers have sold to landscapers here in the Atlanta area that really are looking for something to fill that need. So that was very important.
Nice. Yeah. I figure it's a good consideration from a standpoint of, the True Cut has been like the staple for a lot of landscapers at least in the Georgia area. Like some of the lawns around here where they pay for real mowing, you see True Cuts coming off the truck. So I guess your plan is to hopefully get those replaced with Revolutions, right? So
sure. And I think something that's important is if we couldn't do the independent reel and ground control, honestly, we wouldn't have made a mower. Like there were some things in my mind. This wasn't about just making a mower to make a product. It truly was all about making the right mower. So if there were certain features that weren't going to happen, and honestly, when we interviewed other companies to make the mower, some of them said that's not an option right now, then we didn't go with them. Like it was a game stopper. We had to either have a rear drum with all chains and independent reel from ground control, or we weren't going to make a mower. Those were just musts.
Right. Yep. And you got it. If you ask hard enough, long enough, and enough times, you can get what you want, right? So.
Sure.
All right, we got the Lawn Dad in the live stream. He says, "What's up, my friends? What's going on, Lawn Dad?
Okay.
Let's come and hang out." And he's doing some Revolution content, I think, as well. I think, right?
He is. Yes, he was nice enough to grab one of the Revolutions and start doing some content on unboxing, adjusting the reel to bed knife, backlapping, things like that, which is worked out really great for us because, like I said, we've been really focused on putting the mowers together. So it's nice to have a balance of some good content for some customers. And he does a great job. I've gotten to know him very well, and he's a really, really solid person. So I'm excited to be working with him.
Nice. All right, so we have a question for you. It's probably one I'm going to toss your way. Lee, he says, Adam Fuller says, "Hey, Lee and Ron. Still waiting my delivery of the Revolution, but I have a quick question. What distance do you recommend between the reel and bed knife for operation?" So I think he's asking what kind of contact are we talking here? Heavy contact, light contact? What would you recommend?
So, for the Revolution, if you can get away with cutting, cardstock paper without contact, which right now most of the mowers in the shop can do that, we certainly suggest the least amount of contact, but still be able to have a good cut when you want to check it with the cardstock. So, to tell you that you need a gap tool and set it at 0.005 or the like, you don't have to be that scientific because this is not a greens mower, and it's not going to be nearly as precise as you do with the AccuGauge and getting the height of cut perfectly and getting the reel to bed knife perfect. So it dials in perfectly, but I can't give you a set number. We usually go by cardstock and we'll set it as light as we can, but still be able to cut that cardstock. So it's a science, but it's also not a complete mathematical science.
Gotcha. Sounds good. All right.
And then let me ask, for other mowers as well, I really don't know outside of a greens mower that they have a technical spec that they stick to. I don't know
Yeah,
for the
yeah, yeah.
average.
So yeah, it's like Toro does. Toro has, you can actually use a feeler gauge. Like they have an actual, 'cause it's Toro. They have a distance. But with the Owlet, it's the same thing. I mean, you look at the Owlet, the C27. It's a really, I mean, these days it's a really expensive mower. Like it's gone up a lot since I got mine. And it was same thing you said when Roland has come out and he says, I said, well, how what kind of tolerance you want to get here? He says, really, if you're doing it right and everything is sharp, you should barely hear it. It should be almost like a whisper. It should not be, don't crank it down to the point where it's like a metal on metal type sound. I mean, it should be very light. It's almost like a pair of scissors. It's kind of the sound a pair of scissors makes when you open and close it. That's what it should sound like. It shouldn't be heavy. And the same thing that you said, as far as whenever I'm checking the sharpness or the setting, the reel to bed knife distance on the Owlet, I take a piece of printer paper, fold it in half, so double it, and I just go across the mower, with that. And if what I find, if one area isn't cutting, with the amount of friction or the amount of contact that I deem to be acceptable, I'll backlap the mower. If after backlapping it, it's still not getting there, you saw like, and it typically is if you're standing in front of the mower, the left side, the edge tends to go away on the left side before the right side for whatever reason. And if it's not cutting, that's when it goes in for a grind. So yeah, you don't want to definitely crank things down until you're like really heavy metal on metal. So yeah.
That's a good point. I mean, it really does determine on how fresh the edges are on your mower.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, straight out of the factory or straight out of a grind, relief grind, or something where they've actually honed everything in. I mean, you should almost get away with no contact and be able to cut basically any kind of cardstock or 2 sheets of paper. But if you've been mowing for 4 or 5 months, you may tend to have to grind it down, put it down a little bit tighter to get a good cut. I mean, it really has to do with how long that bed knife and reel have been since they've been backlapped or adjusted. So I can't say that there's a concrete number. Now, Toro is probably basing those specs off of after you get a fresh grind to set them that way. So I think it really has to do with how long it's been since you had a grind on your reel.
Sure. Yeah. And as far as backlapping the Revolution, if I remember, I should know this Revolution it's going to be 1, 2, it's like 3 bolts and then just a half inch drill. There's nothing to disassemble as far as like pulling chains off or anything like that. Yep.
No, just take the side cover off and then grab a 1/2 inch socket and you're drilling, you're good to go. No chains are being removed.
Nice. All right.
And something else we did add, you made me think about it. We took away the Zerks, so there are no grease nipples that are on the mower. That was one thing that we also removed during that time period. We also changed the curvature of the bed knife, so it has a curvature and it's not one of those square bladed bed knives. I'm not sure if you've seen kind of Swordman or even some of the Owlet, some of their residential mowers. It's more of just a rectangular plate almost.
Yep.
It doesn't have a curvature to the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
So we added that. But you're making me think there's been so many things that we've done. The other thing we did is for all the chains, is what made me think of it, we actually have spring-loaded tensioners. So you don't have to continuously manually adjust the tensioners on the chains. They're spring-loaded, so they do it themselves. So those were things also that we added.
So easy.
It's a long list.
Mow. Just important. So just mow.
Yeah, I keep forgetting. Yes, just mow. Have fun.
All right. So cool. This is a good question and one near and dear to my heart. Mr. Oliver Ridham. He says, "What's happening, Ron? What's the best way to get good stripes?" Oh, this question. He says, "Should you go over the same pattern each time you mow? Thought we were supposed to mow different patterns each time." Great question. So if you are looking to burn in the stripes, or get stripes that are very well defined, whenever you mow in a particular direction, going over those same stripes is going to produce that. Like if you look at my back lawn, if I can find the video really quickly, if you look at my back lawn, whenever I mow, if we pause, like let me get to a part where the lawn actually doesn't look like garbage, it looks pretty decent. So if you look at like there, all those dark stripes, whenever the dark stripes are the ones where I'm mowing towards where we're looking right now, and every time I mow in that vantage point, I go over those same stripes. Whenever I mow, to answer your question as far as burn-in, but every time I mow, I change direction. So I mow the lawn either the way you're seeing the stripes now, away and from the house, or I mow perpendicular. So each time I mow, the direction changes. I'm not mowing like the same way every single time, but when I change directions, I go over the same stripes. That does produce better stripes. The negative to it is that, like, how can I explain this? Like between where the stripes meet, you tend to get a bit more wear there than if you like moved it each time, if that makes sense. You see what I'm saying? So if you look at an area where the stripe transitions from light to dark, like any of these, like as you get further into the season, anywhere where it goes from light to dark, that is where there's gonna be more wear because the roller is pretty much always running on that particular, or the end of the roller is always running on that part of the lawn. But if you vary your mowing pattern each time, it really doesn't create any cutting problems. Another thing for getting great stripes, Oliver, and it's you kind of need another piece of equipment to do it, is if you can turf rake your lawn, that produces, I mean, that really does help with striping. Case in point, if you've seen my videos from years past, I've been working on the lawn for a number of years now. While it looked good, the stripes looked pretty, like they never were defined the way they are now, and that really comes down to the regular turf raking and verticutting. So by doing that, by getting debris out, by just keeping it the sward as clean as possible, that, and to where the only thing that's really in the lawn is active living grass, like you're managing that, like it produces a better color, it stripes better, and that's that. So it's a combination of things. It's not just one thing. But to answer your question, I do vary the pattern each time. I just go over the same stripe whenever I change patterns, if that makes sense. And that's how you really burn it in. And if you think about it, like football pitches, if you look at you watch soccer, they do the same thing. Like whenever they set their stripes and they mow that pattern throughout the season. Like that's what they do. So they will vary it. They'll go like sometimes lengthwise or like narrowwise, but they set the stripes and that's what they run to create that appearance. The negative is you just got to top dress every couple of years to deal with the wear that you get in those spots of the lawn. So well worth it, because I think it looks awesome. All right, next up is Terry J. Says, for my first soil test, my pH is 7.9. How would you correct? That's up there, Terry. That's definitely more alkaline. What I would say is you're going to want to use a sulfur of some sort, and I'm looking for one right now. So this one I'm going to link to you here in the chat is one that I'd recommend. So applying a sulfur is going to help bring your pH down. Now, here's the thing. At 7.9, that's up there. That's getting it. So don't expect that you're going to do one sulfur application and then, magically 3 months, 4 months later, you're going to be in the mid sixes. Probably not going to happen. It depends on where your soil, where your soil buffers, like where the buffer pH is for your soil, which is where the soil like naturally wants to be. And that's going to impact how resistant it is to being moved down, to change. You know what I'm saying? So what I would say is a sulfate. I'm gonna link it for you here in the chat now. That is what I would go with. And then that is, and just realize it's going to be a time thing. Now, some considerations that you might want to keep in mind is, okay, so my pH is high. What are the negatives of that? Whenever you do micronutrient applications, like particularly you think about like iron becomes less available, meaning that the plant, either you put it down, the plant can't really take it up as the soil gets more and more alkaline. So the way you can get around that is you can just spray. You can use liquids. They'll use like foliar sprays to help get some iron into the grass, since putting it in the soil is not going to be as effective. So something to keep in mind. Hopefully that helps, Terry. And I'll link the sulfur here in the chat for you now, the product that I'd recommend if you have like a more alkaline soil to lower your pH. So sulfur to lower pH. But again, I can't stress enough, it's going to be a process. You're not gonna again, it's not gonna be a one and done type thing. Sulfur to lower pH. All right, there you go. So cool. Hope that helps, sir. Great question, and it's good. That's, you know what, not to go off on a tangent here, but what you've uncovered there with the soil test is one of the biggest reasons to get a soil test done. Because what will happen is people go out there and they'll just go out and buy fertilizer, and they'll go out and buy like a micronutrient and keep throwing fertilizer with micronutrient in it into the lawn, into the soil, and they wonder why you're not really getting the performance. Like, the most important thing, in my opinion, whenever I look at a soil test, whenever someone sends me a soil test results review and they say, hey, what does my lawn need? The very first thing my eye goes to is where the pH is. And if it's in the mid sixes, I'm like, no matter where your nitrogen, your phosphorus, your potassium are, like, that's easy mode. That's easy to correct versus pH. So that's the thing that you really want to focus on if you're really trying to grow a great stand of turf grass, because it affects everything. It affects the nutrient uptake of the plant. So good job on that. All right, we got Mr. Alexander Lee in the house. He says, Ron and Lee, wow. Now, that's a lineup, already a great stream. Thank you so much, Alex. Hopefully you're doing well, sir. And yeah, man. Yeah, Alex, we got some more content to film. Got another mower in the stables. Again, complete surprise. So yeah. All right, next up is Kyle Palmer. He says, are the Revolutions really on a different level than the Rolux? That's what I've been preaching. I can give you my opinion. I can let Lee, I'll give you my opinion first, and then I'll hand over to Lee. So I got to see the Revolution before it was the Revolution. And I got to see the Rolux before it was in mass production and the one that everyone is getting. And while, again, you can get a good result with mower, with a real mower set up properly. The one thing that I in particular did not like, and I've used a lot of different mowers, are the handlebars on the Rolux. Like having the old school bicycle handlebars where your hands are like not on the, like, not like this, but like this. You would think that would be a small thing, but when you couple that with the fact that the mower feels also a bit like back heavy, rear heavy, the thing that we were mentioning earlier, where the mower will come off the turf and create cutting problems, that was like my first impression. Like, literally, Lee says, hey, try out all these different mowers. I want you to get your opinion of them. I mowed 10 feet with it, and the first thing I said was, I don't like the fact that the front of this mower is too light. Like, the mower just comes off the ground. And yes, you can kind of lift up and keep it down, but you shouldn't have to do that. Like a mower, like my Greensmaster, I don't have to do that. Like, it literally, I just drop it and drive, and it cuts. As long as I point it at lawn, it's going to eat turf, and it's going to be pristine when it's done with it. Same thing with the outlet. So for me, that was the biggest thing. The mower started up fine. The construction felt good. It felt like it was well built. But like for me, like the handlebars and the weight distribution would be a non-starter. Like if I got one for free, I wouldn't use it because it just doesn't cut well unless you got like some kind of special technique. But I'll let Lee give his thoughts on it.
I think that's very fair. The guys over there at Rolux are great guys, and it's a great mower they brought to the market. Fits great need. More competition is great for everybody to keep getting better and up their game. I don't know if people knew this or not, Ron, that, we were getting mowers trying to make this decision. You just talked about it. We would have you over and be like, hey, not really going to say anything. Just, will you go mow? And just tell me what you think. We did that a lot. Mm-hmm. And to see if your feedback was the same as our feedback, because you always wonder, am I being biased? And we, at the time, weren't committed to anyone. We were truly shopping out which direction we wanted to go. Right. And I think some of the things you touched on, I think, is the Revolution better than the Rolux? I definitely believe it is. And I think one of the indicators of that is people haven't really pointed out anything they don't like about our mower. And I'm just saying that in true honesty. Maybe the price point, and it is a different price point. It's another $500 more than what the Rolux same size would be. But there were some things that I really, truly wanted to make with the Revolution and differentiates itself from other mowers. And that would be, again, that independent reel and ground drive was very important and not an option with the Rolux. The handlebars folding and the handlebar comfort was, obviously very, very important to me. And that was a difference. The plastic grass catcher, and then to your point, the mower staying grounded. Those are probably the biggest things. Again, great mower. Nothing against the Rolex. I think it's a tremendous mower. People are loving it. But so's a trimmer, so's a McLean, so's a True Cut. I mean, all of these mowers are great real mowers. We were looking to make a mower that fit and answered all the challenges that people have faced up until this point with the traditional reel mowers that they've had. And that was really our focus. It wasn't just to make another reel mower, it was to make a reel mower that made mowing easier, not just a different logo or name or color or size. It was truly to be a homeowner that enjoys real mowing and eliminate all the headaches that I've had with the other reel mowers on the market and take all the good things that I love about all the other reel mowers and put it into one and try my best to keep that price point really, really aggressive where we made sure that we'll be around. It doesn't do us any good to sell the mower at a price point and we're gone in a year. You know, we wanted to make sure it was a very fair, strong, balanced mower that we could support. We could get supply chain in. We weren't going to have warranty issues. So many things and so many small factors that we put into this. And it looks like Rolex is doing a great job. So I commend those guys. We just have a different approach.
Sure, that's fair. Your answer is like, I think your answer is probably is more politically correct than mine. So yes, I mean, and again, I don't have any skin in the game. I don't make any money off of either of them. But literally, so exactly what he's talking about. I came out one day to the turf park, just stop by and say hi, see what's going on, just to be a pain in the neck and keep him from getting work done. And he says, "Hey, we got a bunch of mowers in the turf park. You want to mow?" I'm like, "Yeah, man. Why not? Let's go try it out." And I said, this is the first thing I said is this is different the way the handlebars are. And again, the one thing I will say is that it does feel it's solid. Like it does feel like it's very well built. But I didn't like the weight distribution, man. I could not. For me, that was the one thing I was like, it's not gonna work well. I'm probably doing it wrong, but I just like, mm-mm. All right. Next up is Alexander Thomas. The question is, will there be an interchangeable cartridge model coming next for the Revolution?
Don't think that'll be the very next thing. I think the next thing is going to be a 20-inch model this fall. We're really aggressively going after that to make a 20-inch Revolution. And then I see a question coming later in the stream, and I'll address that then. But we'll probably offer a different number of blades for both mowers. I don't think it's necessary, but people sometimes just want it. So if you want it, we'll make it. I'm really, really happy with what we have right now. We've scalped down to 3/8. I've maintained at a 1/2 inch, and it's worked phenomenally. So I just don't know for the average homeowner in the market that we're trying to reach, which is that average homeowner, that adding more blades based off our experience and the smaller diameter reel that we already use is really the best unless somebody's keeping a putting green. And some people are, and we may not be the greatest mower for them. But for the person that's trying to maintain their yard between a 1/2 inch and say an inch, inch and a quarter, that's our sweet spot. Yep. That's who we really are trying to make the mower for.
Yeah, and I think that's fair. That is that's a fair point. I think we did like a bunch of calculations on like reel speed and clip rate and all those and literally the proof's in the pudding. Like I took it and I put it on my back lawn, and it cuts well. Again, I put it up against my Greensmaster, my 11 blade Greensmaster, and between the two, the Greensmaster does cut better, but man, there's not a lot in it. And I'm telling you, unless you are there and you look at it and you know it, like you actually get down, and look at the turf and look at the quality of cut, you can't really, you're really splitting hairs. Most people are not going to notice a difference. So, all right, next up we got Kevin L. He says, driving 5 hours to pick up my mower. Nice, man. That's dedication. I like it. He says, Ron, I have a P.
Kevin L's picture right there. We've talked about this, Kevin. So Kevin gave a review on reel rollers maybe like 2 or 3 years ago. Great review, 5-star. And his picture, somehow Google algorithm makes that picture and Kevin come up all the time at the bottom of the site. So as soon as I see that image of his avatar, I know exactly who it is. It's great.
Nice. All right, he says, I have a P20 clutch assembly that I bought from Rollers a year ago, planning on parting out my True Cut if you're interested. Is it different between the between the C27 and the 25? Or the clutches are different, right? Or there's some?
They're all different. Yep.
Yeah. Yes. I don't think a P20 is going to work on my C25. I don't think so. I have like the Unicorn True Cut, which I was like, oh yeah, I got the True Cut CC25. It's a really cool one. Everyone wants it. You know what? Can't get parts for them. So that's the one thing, and it's a shame too, because you guys know me and my True Cut, man. I love that mower. It's my first powered reel mower, still a great mower. It's just I haven't been able to mow with it for I haven't been able to use it. Like the swale area looks neglected. I'm out there cutting the swale area with the rotary scissors because I got nothing that'll fit in there until now. Now I got something that'll fit. So happy days. Happy days. That's Lee knew what he was doing. He's like, you know what? He's gonna cut the swale area with that revolution. He's gonna be like, let me cut a little bit more. And then soon enough, he wants to. Yeah, yes, I see. You're trying to go after my GM. I know what's going on. I know what's going on. All right, John Williams is up next. He says, hey, Ron, thanks for the show. I just did grass plug job in St. Augustine here in Savannah, Georgia. How often should I spoon feed? Every week or what? A great question, John. As far as spoon feeding, I've tested what you're talking about. So 3 years ago, I tested spoon feeding every week versus every 2 weeks, like what I do now. And I'll be honest with you, like every 2 weeks is by far the sweet spot. Every week is a lot of work, especially on a lawn my size. And there wasn't really a big difference that I could detect in appearance between putting out a liquid spray every single week versus putting out a liquid spray every 2 weeks. Now, between doing it once a month and every other week, there is a difference. It's noticeable. But every week, I just don't think the juice is personally worth the squeeze. So if it were me, every 2 weeks is when I would get out there and spray your liquid fertilizers at low rates. That's the key thing. You're not trying to spray heavy, low rates every couple of weeks, and you're going to like the results you get in the turf from doing that. So congrats, man. Congrats on the St. Augustine, the plugs getting that all in. And yeah, I like spoon feeding. It's the only negative to it, I always say, the only negative to spoon feeding your lawn is just more work. It takes more time. But if you're someone, again, if you're on here on a Thursday night watching a show about lawn care, you probably don't care about having to go out twice a month to go and spray your lawn. So I think this audience is safe. All right. We have a question from Instagram from Blaze Mangala. It says, hey, Ron, I recently received a soil test on my pH of 6.0, iron of 27. I live in Western Washington and have Kentucky bluegrass. Do I need to treat with lime? Not really. I say if you want to put a maintenance app out, like a light app, 20 pounds per thousand, that would be okay. But you remember, anywhere between 5.8 and 7.2, that's in the acceptable range. At 6.0, you are on the lower, you're trending lower. So if you want to do a light lime app, again, keyword light, I wouldn't be opposed to that. But to say you absolutely have to do one, I would say it's strictly necessary. As far as lime goes, you have your soil test results. You didn't tell me what your magnesium is. The way you're going to choose between a calcitic or a dolomitic lime is if your magnesium levels are lower, go with dolomitic. And if your magnesium levels are fine, go with a calcitic lime. But again, based on what you're telling me, 20 pounds per thousand is about as heavy as I would go for your lawn. So hope that helps. Great question. All right, next up, we have Design by Hand LLC. There's a question. It says, what is the cutting width of the Revolution 26? And is this a good mower to get if it's your first powered reel mower? What say you?
So the cutting width is 26.5, and kind of unlike boats, we round down, not up. You go and get a 20-foot boat and it's really like 18.7. No, we round down. So it's 26.5 inches cutting width. And for a new homeowner, it's a tremendous mower for a new homeowner or a new reel mower owner because it's so simple to use. I don't know if you can appreciate it as much as someone who has had another reel mower. That I do know. Like you really can't, to you it'll seem like, oh, it's just like my rotary. This is a no-brainer. But if you've ever mowed with the traditional reel mowers, you would have a real appreciation for all the different things that are in that mower. But for a person new to reel mowing, there wouldn't be a better mower. I mean, truly, it is that simple to use, that safe to use, that it would remind you a lot of your rotary mower features and benefits that you're used to.
I think that's a fair assessment. I mean, the one thing that comes to mind is like backlapping, right? Like I have backlapped my True Cut one time because when I did it, the amount it's a colossal pain to do. It's a hassle. So whenever it goes out for a grind is whenever I let them set it up, let them do all of it. So being able to do just that, like the only mower that is easier than the Revolution to backlap is my Alette. And that's because it's an electric mower. You just plug a thing in and press it and this reel spins backwards. But as far as like a gas-powered rotary, gas-powered reel mower to backlap, it's super, it's as easy as it gets. And the one thing that I will appreciate, and this is, you guys, if you're, someone that wrenches on things, it's kind of nice, is I don't know that every bolt on it is half inch, as it is but the majority, all the ones that I was touching are half inch. Like the ones for the handlebars are half inch, the one for the lower handlebars are half inch. I'm not sure, but the one for the backlapping for the hold the sprockets on half inch. So is it half inch most primarily throughout the most of the mower?
Half inch works. They're technically 13 millimeters, but there's certain millimeter and inch sizes that become almost synonymous.
Sure,
So you can use it. Doesn't strip. It doesn't move. It feels just like the 13 does.
sure.
So we always use a half inch, and everything else is either it's one other size, which is going to be I think a 5/16. I think
Okay,
that's the other
yeah,
one. And then everything else is Phillips heads. It's pretty simple.
yeah. So, but for
But
the
yes,
things you're going to touch,
one
and believe
tool.
me, I've wrenched on these. I've wrenched on quite a few of them. You're going to need, if you were going to build a mower from the box, out of the box, you're going to need a Phillips screwdriver, two 13-inch, two 13 millimeter wrenches, or two half-inch wrenches, and a 10 millimeter, because some of the nuts that hold some of the cables on the handlebars, those are 10 millimeters or 3/8, but 10 mil I think is what Lee had. So not a hard mower to work on. I mean, it's again, I was building them in 7 to 8 minutes thereabouts, so they not hard to do. All right, next up is Jonathan Lee. He says, Mary, you should have received an email around March 19th. I ordered in September, and Lee said to expect the first shipment going on Monday the 15th. Yeah, so it sounds like that's about right as far as shipment times, right? All right. Wind Chariot, what's going on, man? I haven't seen you in a while. He says, good day, everybody. Waiting on the Revolution to be delivered. The outlet is now a scalping mower. You have relegated the outlet to scalping? Wow. Okay, so the Revolution is the new queen, huh? Wow. Okay. All right, Wind Chariot. Sounds good. He says, let's see here. He says, Lee, when do you plan to update your customers? Since you said they'd be shipping out yesterday, I feel out of touch since I don't have Facebook. So I think he just did, but I mean, as far as if we're gonna people that are local picking them up, how's that gonna work? And people that are getting theirs shipped, how is that gonna work? So that Mary's all cleared up.
Yeah, so sure. So the folks that were doing local pickups to try to control how many people came at once, we had time slots set up. So we have about 20 to 25 people coming each day for the next 4 days. So everybody comes in 15-minute intervals. The thing was, people's time is important. So we didn't want 30 people showing up at once and having to wait forever to try to get out the door. We just didn't think that was fair. So a little bit of organized chaos. And then for those that are shipping, the truck is half loaded right now. This weekend, we're going to finish loading up the rest of the truck. And then, Mary, you'll be getting an email along with everyone else that has the tracking number for the T-Force company that will deliver it to your doorstep on a pallet with a pallet jack in the liftgate service. So they will communicate with you once they get the mower to your town. They will communicate a 4-hour window and then deliver it right to you. So for most places in the country, I mean, T-Force is the company that bought out UPS Freight. So they've been amazing. I've been working with them now for 4 years. I've used a lot of freight companies, a lot of them. And when it comes to liftgate service to residential, you really only have about 4 or 5 options. And I've been with them for 4 years because they've been phenomenal. Very consistent, very fast. So almost anywhere in the country, we have mowers delivered within 4 days or less. It's really awesome.
Nice. Very cool.
Very cool.
All right, so Blaze is back. He says, thank you. I have another question. I just got done heavily aerating my lawn, and it seems very compacted. I top dressed last fall with a 70-30 blend. Should I top dress this time with 100% sand? I wouldn't. I would just stick to the 70-30. Here's the reason why. I mean, can you top dress with 100% sand and get a good result? Yes. But I really would only do that if you're somewhere where you can't, you don't have easy access to a blend. You know, I personally feel there's a lot to be said for having that 30% of organic material, especially for residential lawns. If you're talking about a green, then yeah, 100% sand. But I mean, for a residential lawn, you know, why not also introduce more organic material to the soil when you're going out there and top dressing it? So you can always do another top dress. You can aerate again, do another top dress. That's going to help with compaction. It's going to help with drainage. And if it were me, I would stick with a 70-30 blend. So hope that helps. Next up is No Name. He's in the house. He says, good to see Lee on the show again. I need to go and check out the turf park this year. I am very excited for you guys with getting the mower into customers' hands. Let's get those likes up. I appreciate that, No Name. Yeah, guys, we got 130 people in here, only 83 likes. Come on, let's support the channel. It costs absolutely nothing to hit that like button. It's free. Hit that like button if you've not done so as yet. I really appreciate it. Higgy pops up next. He says, happy Thursday, everyone. What's going on, Higgy? Thanks for coming to stop by. And Gary H says, hey, team. And then next up is Mr. says, does Real Rollers sharpen Allet reels? If so, what's the turnaround? Or maybe it's, Real Rollers. Yeah, I think it's Real Rollers. Does Real Rollers sharpen Allet reels? If so, what's the turnaround time? Thank you both for all that you do for the lawn community. So do you I don't think do you guys sharpen Allet reels?
Yeah, I was gonna say we don't sharpen reels here at our shop. So sorry about that, but there's a lot of companies around. But on our website, we do have a section for Real Mower Service where you can actually click on it, and it will give you a list of mower shops that we know of that are customers and partners of ours. I think we have about 100, 120 of them that are sorted by zip code. So you just enter your zip code right there under grinder finder search. Quick. Throw your zip code in, and it will show you a map of all the shops in the area that do Real Mower Service.
Yep,
So
so there you
although
go.
we
I'm
don't,
on the
we do
grinder
want to
finder now,
support
and
the community.
you can zoom in, and I gave Gainesville, and you can see all these different shops that offer grinding work. Georgia is really not that bad, so I'm not sure where in the country you are, but yeah, using that tool is a great idea for for being able to get your equipment taken care of. All right.
Hey, and I'm
All
going to
right.
do a plug. If you guys have that aren't on there, or you have a Real Mower shop that you guys use, please tell them to sign up. It's completely free to everybody. It's just a resource for everybody to have a place to find shops and be able to service their mowers easily.
Nice. All right, Gary H says I joined the revolution and I can't wait to to keeping it real. Nice. You're gonna like it. Hickey pops up next. He says, "Have a great show, Ron. I can't stay tonight. No worries, man. You can always catch it on the replay if you want to." Then next up, you have Clayton Jefferson. He says, "I just ordered my Revolution 26 last night. Excited to retire the McLean. Just put down some Essential G and carbon kit. Ready for some KBG/ryegrass stripes." You're doing all right, man. You're getting a Revolution. You're putting down that good concoction, the Essential G and the carbon kit. I dig it, man. I like it. So that's a good question. So Lee, as far as that's a good point. So right now, a lot of the mower orders that are being filled are people that bought like last year. If I walk into Real Rollers now and say, "Hey, listen, I want a Revolution 26," what am I looking at timeline on getting one?
The first week of June is the earliest that if you ordered today.
Okay.
So we have more containers coming every month. So we have 2 containers coming every month. But right now, our containers that are coming in May is already sold out. Both of those containers. So it would be the first container coming in June. So it's first week of June.
First part of June. Cool. Very nice. All right, we got Jeremy White saying, "What's going on, Jeremy?" So rolling says UFC 300. Yeah, man, it's gonna be good. I am looking forward to that. That's gonna be. It's a good card. The undercard looks legit. Like the main card. It's gonna be insane. It should be pretty legit. I'm looking forward to UFC 300. I already pre-purchased, already prepaid. I'm ready to go. See the carnage, man. All right, I'm actually looking forward, believe it or not, to the Zhang Wei Li fight. I want to see she's a savage, so I want to see her fight. I'm looking forward. I mean, all of them are going to be good, but I really want to see her fight. All right, Julius Elias says, "Do you have a payment plan for mowers?"
Good question. We do offer at checkout the opportunity to purchase through PayPal credit, and that is 6 months, 0% interest, and no penalty if you pay it off. So literally, you could run it all the way to the end of that credit period, and then pay it off on the last day. You would pay 0 interest, and that would be one way to do it.
Nice, cool. So PayPal credit, you can use that to get the mower. All right. Nice. Next up is Tom Hoffencab. He says, "Happy live stream. Congrats to Real Rollers and everyone getting the new hotness delivered. The Revolution is a masterpiece." Yeah, I tell you, it's a mower that's designed by people that real mow. You can really tell. So I think that folks are really gonna like it. And I'm not just saying that. I mean, before Hayes showed up and scared me, I thought like Lee got hit by a bus or something. Before any of that, I said, and you guys have heard me say in the live stream, is if I were in the market for a mower today, especially at the price point. That's the thing you have to look at. Like you look at like my Allet, right? If you're gonna go buy one now, like my commercial mower, they're like 18 grand. They're crazy expensive. And if you even get into like a battery powered Allet, I think they're closer to 5 or 6 grand. A greens mower you can get 3,500. Like that's what I paid for mine many years ago. But I mean, for under $3,000 to have a mower that has like everything that it has, literally a mower you buy, put oil in it, put gas in it, and it needs nothing other than a nice stand of turf to go cut. it's really compelling option. It's tough to it's really well done. 'Cause I mean, even nowadays, like the Revolution costs what if you can find one, what a true cut is going to set you back, thereabouts. I'm not sure the true cuts are, last time I looked, they were closer to $3,000 than
True cuts
2,700.
have gotten up there. They're actually a 27 right now is running 3,600 without a
Yeah,
roller.
see, so yeah, so $3,600 for a true cut. Again, nothing wrong with a true cut. It's a great mower, but I mean,
Sure, great.
it's not in the same category in my opinion as a Revolution. So at the price point, that's the way to go. Tom says, I would gladly pay you Tuesday for a hamburger today. Okay. All right. Next up is Jim Schmid. He says, evening Ron and Godfather Lee. Excited Revolution owner awaiting the beat. How do you answer the question on why just 6-blade? Was that a Massport restriction, or is it really enough blades compared to the others?
Super fair question. I'll answer it with it was math. We nerded out when it came to frequency of cut, also the engine RPMs. So although a Honda is a Honda, they're really not. They actually different versions of them carry different RPM rates and also different revolutions. So it really had everything to do with the frequency of cut. So Massport did not hold any restrictions. We could have asked for a 32 blade and they probably would have made it for us. Obviously unrealistic, but their mower was a 6 and they actually make a 10 blade. They offered it to us. But when we ran the math, it wasn't a frequency of cut, a clip rate, you could say, that matched with our type of customer base. It would require folks to mow every day or every other day. And although those folks are out there, it really wasn't the masses that we were trying to reach with this first release. And again, according to the frequency of cut, the ground speed that's with this mower, with this engine's RPMs, and with a 6-inch diameter reel, which is smaller than what you would find, 5-inch diameter reel, which is similar to a greens mower. They're also a smaller diameter. It is in a true cut, a trimmer, and a McLean are all 1 inch larger in diameter. So when we did the math and they gave us the option to tell them how many blades we wanted, we based that completely off of being in that sweet spot of a 1/2 inch to 1 inch. And we found that the 6-blade at that diameter was the perfect match to hit that optimum range. And that was our goal.
Yeah. And Jim, if you watched my video from last year when I had not even the version that you guys are all getting, I put it on my back lawn. I cut the front lawn with it, and I could have put it on my back lawn. And I got to tell you, like it cuts it. The mower cuts well. I mean, there's not a whole lot in it. I mean, it's, in other words, I do not feel like I need like a 10-blade Revolution to like I was really missing anything. I'll be being completely honest. I mean, the mower cuts really, really well. So, I guess not sure if it's the Revolution or the Revolution speed or the small diameter reel, but the clip rate at the cutting heights that I run my lawn, which are 3/4 of an inch, it works great. There was no issues there whatsoever. So, all right, Alan Coleman's up next. He says, I can't wait to pick up the Revolution 26 tomorrow and bench the Swordman. You can't bench the Swordman, man. I mean, if you have the cartridge, you can still use the Swordman to verticut, to turf rake. I mean, that's still valuable. So I wouldn't say you're gonna, maybe you bench it for mowing, but like for other things, you can still use it for that, right? All right, next up we have Jeremy O'Shields. I think you've kind of already answered this, but I can, we'll do it one more again. Where Jeremy says, hey guys, enjoying the chat. Can you talk about why 6 blades versus 8 or more?
I'll make this a little easier. We will launch a 10-blade probably this fall for those that need it or feel like they need it. But the 6-blade Revolution equals about an 8-blade true cut if you do the math.
Okay, so there you go.
And we just didn't feel we needed to go higher.
Sounds good. All right, we have a super chat. Let me go down and grab that really quick. This one is from Mr. Ben Raham. Thank you so much, Ben.
Super chat received.
He says, thanks, Ron and Lee, for the stream. For y'all that have not met Ron, Lee, and Isaac in person, know that they are all awesome. Thanks to y'all for providing great products available and approachable to beginners. I tell everybody that I look way cooler online than I am in person. Like, meet me in person it's really, you'll be very unimpressed, very underwhelmed. So I appreciate that, Ben. I do agree with
It's
you
been
on Lee and Isaac and all the work that they do and their patience and just their love for people having amazing lawns. So that's something we definitely share. Thank you so much for the super chat. And I think you are now our show sponsor based on that. So there you go. Your name in lights for whatever that means to you. All right, next up is Terry J. He says, thanks for all the info, Ron. I will be patient. Yeah, just give it time. Guys, here's the thing you gotta realize. Like, it's early in the season, and you can look, I know you can look at lawns, especially if you're looking at like content on YouTube and you look like you're seeing like if you're looking at cool season lawns, don't bother looking at cool season turf grass if you have a warm season lawn, because you're comparing two things that are completely different worlds, different universes. But if you look at my lawn, you say, well, my lawn should be, your lawn should be further ahead based on like where Ron's lawn is. You have to realize that every lawn is different. Like the amount of care my lawn is different to how most other people care for their lawns. And then I also, I remember I'm always tweaking, I'm always playing with things, and all of that adds up. So I just say that it's only the first part of April. You still got plenty of time for the growing season to get going, and if your lawn is not quite the color you want it to be yet, it will get there. And as far as Terry, I know your question was about soil pH. Just it is going to be a waiting game, just a patience thing, and you have a way around it. Now that you know that your soil is very alkaline, just use foliar sprays for your micronutrient, and that's a great way to get around that. You can still get a great looking stand of turf grass if you do that. Remember, the whole point of soil testing is to have the data to make intelligent decisions about what you put into your lawn. So that's the thing. There's no really good or bad. It is what it is. All right, Jared George is up next. He says, Lee, excited to start my first season with a powered reel mower. Got me a hand-down McLean, but I ordered a front grooved roller from you guys. Looks great. Would love a Revolution one day. Baby steps. I get it.
great.
Get it.
I totally
Yep.
get it. My first one was a McLean from like 1982, $350. Threw a smooth roller on it, and I fell in love.
That's it. I had to push my first mower. You guys can see the videos. They're still on YouTube. A Scott's push mower, which again, every time I say it, it's insane because my lawn is way too big for that. But you always start somewhere, and if you stick
Sure.
with it long enough, it gets kind of crazy. You know how you look at car guys. You're saying, how does a person end up with like 37 cars? And you can kind of see it. Once you get into anything, there's always another level, always more, and you're always chasing. That's one thing about turf grass is so fun. You're always chasing like the perfect lawn, the perfect cut, and that's what makes it, to me anyways, what makes it fun. All right, Enzo Moy is up next. He says, can I still do a soil test if I already put out a fertilizer? You can, Enzo. What I would say is you want to give it at least 4 weeks from the time you put out the granular fertilizer until you pull cores to check your samples, because you don't want the fertilizer you've already put out to skew the results that you're going to get from your soil test data. So as long as you give it a good 4 weeks or so before you pull cores, that will be just fine. It's a great question. Good question. All right. Next up, he says, hey, Ron, what is a good time to cut the grass? Early morning, late evening? Your thoughts? Whenever you can do it. I will tell you that there's pros and cons to each, and I'll run through it. The pros to doing it early in the morning is that there's a little bit of dew on the lawn. It's very easy to get your stripes laid in really nicely because you got like almost like a guide, right? It's also cooler in the evening. Same thing is also cooler. As far as cut quality, it is like cutting dry grass. You get a better cut if the turf grass is dry versus when it's wet. Also, believe it or not, and it wasn't something that I realized, but the folks from Outlet explained this to me, and it actually makes sense. Is that when you're cutting a wet lawn, it's actually a bit harder on the reel than if you're cutting a dry lawn. Meaning you'll it's not quite as bad as like running over sand, but the mower will not hold its edge as long if you're consistently always cutting wet grass versus if you cut a dry lawn. So what I would say the sweet spot is if you can cut at like 10 in the morning when it's still fairly cool, but the lawn for the most part is dry, like all that heavy dew is burnt off. That's a good compromise, but I mean the biggest advantage to mowing early in the morning. Remember, there's a time for years in the morning I would do that. I was like the guy that would mow early in the morning, 6 a.m. I get up there and mow. The big difference, the big benefit is it's really easy to get like dead nuts perfect stripes, but it's a bit harder on the reel and bed knife, and if you're not really keeping up with the lawn, meaning if you're letting a lot of time elapse, you are increasing the likelihood of you like leaving clumps and chunks of grass on the lawn when you cut. and it's also going to make a mess of the mower. That's another thing too. Like if you cut a wet lawn, the real mower is going to be a mess when you're done with it. So for those reasons, if you wait till like 10 in the morning, I think it'd be better. I mean, Lee, what do you think? You probably mowed all different times of day. What do you think? Morning, evening, middle of the day? What's your thoughts?
Same as what you had mentioned. My biggest fear is the clumps. I'm gonna have to go back and blow the yard or clean the
Yep.
mower up. That's really the only two for me. Is I don't seem to get a good dispersion of the grass as well when it's wet, and requires me to put a little bit more time in sometimes when I don't want to. So I prefer to do it in the afternoon. That's just me.
Yep.
Evening.
Evening, afternoon time. Yep. Cool. All right, next up is Oliver Ridham. He says, I think we've already done this. The question is, can you talk about the real RPM speed and it being a 6-blade, how it still cuts efficiently compared to other mowers with a higher blade count? I think he's already revisited that one. Is there anything else you want to add to what you've already said?
It's just math.
Okay, just math. Yeah,
Um,
yeah. And
and the
again,
sweet spot is 1/2 to 1 inch.
yeah, and again, math aside, I've tested the mower on my lawn. I'm like, cuts good. It doesn't, no, there's not a whole lot in it. Granted, I'm cutting it at 3/4 of an inch. If you want to get up there and mow at 1/4 of an inch with a 6-blade, maybe that's when it's not going to work out as well. But at my heights, it's fine. All right, Jeremy O'Shiel says, what are the lead times of the Revolution 26? Still June. Yeah,
So it looks
still
like
June.
probably the next 2 or 3 weeks, it'll still be that first week of June.
First week of June. But then after that, I mean, will there be a time? I imagine your goal is at some point, I guess after June, someone will be able just to walk into the showroom and just buy a mower and leave with it that same day if they wanted to, once you get caught up, I guess, on the backlog, right?
It's absolutely the goal. I mean, the goal is to absolutely have a couple hundred mowers in here at all times, no
Okay,
doubt.
nice. All right. Next up is Tom V. He says, hi, Ron. When will Real Rollers open a location in Chicago or the Midwest to support our cool season friends? I don't, yeah, I don't
Sounds
hear, I don't
nice.
know.
It'd be nice. It's a beautiful town. For right now, we're going to focus on making sure we get this dialed in perfectly. Don't want to disappoint anybody. So we're going to keep our primary location here in Georgia, make sure we get all the supply chain set up. And ultimately, there's some great attractive cities that would be a great location for maybe another Real Rollers location or other dealers. But for now, it's really important with a new product that we believe to ensure that we have the inventory. Sorry, Isaac's just leaving. He's waving. So I told you, 8:34.
8:30.
He's just giving me a wave. Uh, he's heading out right now. Sorry about that. Hopefully in the future we'll add some other locations because I do think there's some really cool markets where it make it convenient for folks to be able to come in person and try out different mowers and kind of do the same model. But for now, our promise and our guarantee is to make sure we support everybody to the best of our ability, and that means centralizing everything in the short term.
Gotcha. Nice. And then as far as parts goes, if someone needs parts, that's one thing you guys, I know it's a big thing for you. You're going to have adequate parts to be able to take care of whatever people need. And you guys ship pretty quickly. So even if you're in the Midwest, getting parts is not going to be an extreme long wait.
Absolutely.
All right, cool. Tom Hoffenkamp says, Lawn Dad has a nice content. I love the hill climb comparison he did with his other mower. I have not seen that video, Tom, but I will tell you that is the one thing, like compared to as far as if I were rating them, as far as mowers that I've used on my lawn, like in the best to worst as far as climbing a slope, Revolution by far, it just like what is kind of what he says in his marketing. It climbs like a billy goat. It just digs in and climbs. It's an awesome mower from that standpoint. The True Cut is next. My Greensmaster 1600 is after that, and the Outlet C27 is you have a death wish if you're going to try this. It's scary. So the only time that mower ever goes on the front lawn is when I'm verticutting or turf raking. I don't really mow with it on the front lawn because really it's a mower that's designed for football pitches. Like if you go look at like Al's documentation, like all their guidance, they're using them to cut like what they call them, bowling greens, I guess in the UK, bowling greens, football pitches. It's designed for like big expanses of flat turf because it's a commercial mower. That's what it's designed for. They don't have hills on soccer fields, right? So so it's not really a negative of the mower. It's more so that I'm trying to make it do something that it really was not designed to do. On the back lawn, which is largely flat, it's a thing of beauty. I mean, it's awesome, but on a slope, the Revolution is really tough to beat, and it produces a great cut. So I have not seen that content. I'm have to go check it out. Check out his comparison. Tom says John Deere gap for bed knife to reel is 1 thou to 2 thou. My eyes are not that good, so I use a feeler gauge. Yeah, it didn't take very. That's pretty close. Very close. Next up is R. Reed. He says, "What's going on, Ron and Lee? I'll be there to pick up my Revolution this Saturday. Cool. All right. A lot of people coming to pick up their mowers in person. And then next up, we got Colin. Colin again. He says, Ron, in your opinion, if a lawn has only been established for a year, would you say aeration would be a good idea or hold off? I feel I could do very well now. Just curious on your thoughts. Yeah, I mean, I'm a fan of aeration, man. If the lawn is established, to where, give you an example. Let's say you put sod out and the sod isn't well rooted in. Then no, don't go aerate that because you're likely going to pull it up. You're going to create more headache than it's worth. But, even a new lawn that's a year old, if you want to go out and do an aeration, I think there's a lot of benefits to that as far as, relieving compaction if you have any. And then as far as allowing nutrient, water, air to get down in the soil, it's a good thing for the turf. You know what I mean? It's a good cultural practice to take on. If it's a brand new lawn, you don't have to beat it up too badly. You don't have to go out there and do like double passes, but like a light aeration there's really not a lot of downside to doing that, So I would recommend going forward if you're something you want to do this year. What do you think, Lee? I mean, as far as your lawn, your home lawn, do you aerate? I mean, I know you're a pretty busy guy, but I mean, what's your thoughts on aeration benefits versus think the juice is worth the squeeze?
Because I believe it's the juice is worth the squeeze every May and June. I don't know if it makes a difference because I've never not done it, but I have to think it's the right thing to do. And I apologize. I keep looking up to my left. It's just because it's our security cameras and a customer just pulled up and the doors aren't locked. And I'm wondering if they're trying to come in or not. So it's after hours. So I apologize. I don't want people to think I was being rude. It's just not often that 8:30 at night, a car pulls into the parking lot. So I was just trying to see. They were picking up
what's
the
going
order.
on. Well, if you got to step away for a second, man.
Yeah, so I apologize.
Yeah, no. It's no problem. If you got to step away for a second, just no issue at all.
I didn't want people to think I was looking away. It's just, where the cameras are. I'm looking at the TV screen.
No.
I saw
Someone's
a random
coming.
car pull up.
Yeah, someone shows up my camera in my front yard at 9 o'clock at night, and I don't know who they are. It's not a good thing. So,
and we're at the shop, so they're probably grabbing something. I just want to make sure we're good.
Right.
They just pulled up.
That's fair.
Sorry.
Tom Hoppercap says, I wish I lived in Georgia for real. Yeah, man, Georgia's pretty cool. We got Augusta National. Sure. I mean, if you guys want to see amazing stands of turf grass, watch the If you don't like golf, watch the Masters. The only thing I'll tell you is this. Having been there in person myself, as amazing as the course looks on TV, it is better in person. TV just doesn't, even in the day what we have now, we have 4K OLED screens, like everything crystal clear. It's even if you don't like golf, Augusta National is something to be experienced. It's literally one of the most beautiful places on earth. It's just the turf is imagine the best way you can describe it is this. Imagine the best lawn, the best cut of turf you've ever seen in your entire life, and it's better than that. That's probably the best way I can put it to you. It's incredible. It's another level. All right, next up is Jeremy O'Shields. He says, Ron, I'm driving my Sterling back to Roland from Milton tomorrow for repair. Order Revolution based on the info from tonight's chat. Here's the thing. The Sterling, there's nothing wrong with the Sterling. The Sterling is, you can't, comparing the Sterling to the Revolution, I think is unfair because one is, it's really designed for smaller lawns and it's a multi-tool. Like you can cut with it, you can do cultivations with it. It's a different animal. You know what I mean? But for most people that just want, if you're talking about just from like a mowing standpoint, it's not fair to compare the Sterling to the Revolution in my opinion. They're two different animals altogether. So yeah, hopefully you get it fixed and you can get out there and still have fun with it. I mean, at a minimum, what I would say is if you have the Sterling and the Revolution, don't get rid of it. Like use it for turf raking. I don't know if there's a verticutting cartridge for the Sterling. I don't know how well it would verticut. It's not that heavy, so I'm not sure how well it would work. But still use it at least for turf raking because it's that there's a lot of benefits to that. I wish more people would do that to their lawns. All right, Brian Hall says like, subscribe, and share. Definitely, guys. We got 130 people in the live stream right now. Only 109 likes. If you are new, if you've just joined the show, please hit the like button. It's absolutely free. And if you like the content, feel free to share it. Subscribe to the channel. We put out lots of content and hopefully you can get some value out of it. All right, Oconee Jacket says, would love to get a Revolution. Do you have any strategies for how to hide it from your wife? Have fun tonight. I'll find a way at some point. I'll give that to Lee. I don't know if I'm touch that one.
No, yeah, that's good. Last year my wife started to, guilty. I've been so busy. My wife started to mow our yard herself, which I got pretty jealous because I was working pretty hard and she had a little bit of time in the day and I would come home without telling me and I would see the yard is mowed and I was kind of jealous because she was beating me to like my passion and now she's found it to be therapeutic herself. And it was a testament also to the mower. I swear this isn't a plug. She would never mow with any of my other previous mowers. Like she's never even thought about it. The fact that she learned how to start it, that was one thing she was up. Ron, I think she told you that too. There's no YouTube videos out there for how to start a lawnmower. Like she was looking it up because she has never started any mower in her life. And she was sitting there trying to figure out what the choke was, the on off. Like I didn't even think about that simple of a level that no one really shows that how to start a lawnmower. So she tried to YouTube it. She told me I need to make a video on how to start a lawnmower and not how to backlap a mower.
That's fair.
But literally, I came home one day and she said, I knew you've been busy. The yard was getting long. I just wanted to mow it and see what it was like. And now I'm fighting her to do it. So hiding it from her, really, she's into it as much as I am now. So now it's fighting for her.
Nice. There you go. So there you go, Coney. So get your wife, have her try it out, and then she might love it, and then she'll be good with it. You have like his and hers mowers, So
It's
so
such a
yeah,
good thing. Mentally,
it's therapeutic.
physically,
Man.
mentally,
No, go
it
ahead.
really is. No, please.
No, it is. I mean, like I do my best thinking when I'm on the lawn. Like literally, I'll just go out there and sometimes I'll put a podcast on. Sometimes I'll be thinking about a problem or something I'm trying to solve, and I'll just get out there and mow. And it is very relaxed. People don't get it, but it's like I guess for people that do yoga or that do other things. I mean, whatever. It's not. It doesn't feel like work. Like trimming my shrubs feels like work. Edging that feels like work. But like mowing, no, never work. Never work.
Agree.
All right. Short Dress says, hey, Milan Nuts, I was at the Masters on Monday. Unbelievable grass and property. I did see 2 weeds on the property, not on the course though. LOL. That place is heaven. Oh my God. Yeah. So that's what your experience is going to be if you ever get to go and check it out. It's something else, man. It is another level. If you want to see what a stand of turf grass can look like with practically an unlimited budget and a course that only has to look good a few months out of the year, that's Augusta National. So it shows what is possible. All right, next up is Andre Taylor. He says, hey, Ron and Lee, thanks for your contributions to the lawn community. Ron, is a level lawn a prerequisite to getting into real mowing? No, I don't think so. If you want to mow at lower heights, a level lawn does help. But be completely honest, like unless your lawn is like an off-road dirt track, you are less likely to scalp a slightly uneven lawn with a real mower than you are with a rotary mower, because you think about how the weight is carried on a real mower, like something like the Revolution. You've got a big rear drum, you've got a big front roller, so the weight is distributed over two large surfaces. So let's say this is your mower. We'll use this whole test kit. Say this is your mower, right? And you've got a low spot here. Because you got the mower supported by like this section and then a drum back here, if you got a low spot here, while the mower may dip a little bit, you've got there's still a lot of material holding it up. Whereas you take like a rotary mower where you've got basically just 4 points, if one of the front wheels runs over a low spot, the entire disc is going to tilt and you're more likely to scalp. So, to answer your question, no, you don't have to have a level lawn to real mow. If you want to go low, you'll likely have to do that, but it's you don't have, it's not a prerequisite. I mean, Lee, I'm sure this is a question you get all the time. What do you think about that?
We truly believe in mowing with a real mower for at least one season before you even think about leveling out your lawn. And the reason being is once you start to bring that canopy down and you're now mowing between a half inch and half inch and an inch, the grass is a lot denser. And as Ron mentioned about the rollers, I mean, even the worst of yards, again, outside of a dirt track, you can usually mow at a 3/4 of an inch and never scalp with a real mower. With the rotary mower, you kind of have a perception that it has to do with the cutting height, but it really has to do with the design of those mowers on a rotary. So we tell people usually to mow. I at least recommend mowing for at least a season with a real mower, because you'll see that canopy comes down and many of the undulations in your soil actually get absorbed, let's say, because the grass has become dense and thick and your mower's riding on the grass and not on the soil like a rotary does that has an empty canopy. That rotary mower with such an empty, thin type of grass is completely riding on soil. Once you bring that canopy down, it really becomes dense. Again, you'll start to see that a lot of the bumps are absorbed by the grass turf density. And then the second year, you can come in and really get after the problem child places and really start to bring that yard in where you constantly are scalping maybe a certain spot of the yard or a certain place in the yard. That's what I would suggest. Plus, sanding is not fun. It's a great result, but physically, it is one of those things that like it's almost like dethatching or scarifying or scalping. You get into it and you think it's a great idea, and it is. But about an hour into it, or your 15th trash bag, you're like, oh man, now I can't stop. I'm into it. So
Yep.
sanding, I feel like is the same way. It looks great when the dump truck comes and throws it on the driveway, but about 2 hours into it, and you've got still a half a pile of sand. You're like, oh, I can't stop. I got to park my car in the garage.
Yep.
But man, this is tough.
Yeah. So you make a lot of good points. Lee, if you're gonna do it yourself, it's a lot of work. It's one of those things like, you always, to his point, you start out, your first couple hours, you're like, yeah, this is awesome. And then you're like, man, this is just, it's a lot of work. It looks awesome when it's done. And I'd almost say, here's what I would say this. If you decide to level your lawn, there is no shame, because I've done it both ways. There is absolutely no shame in paying a service to do it for you, because it is a lot of work. If you have a big property, it's a ton of work. So that's just something to consider if you ever do get around to, getting getting your lawn leveled. I mean, it's not like you have to level your lawn yourself as a badge of honor, or you didn't earn it yourself. You paid for it, and it's done. It looks good, and your back will thank you. So, let's see. So Jonathan says, I have the same question, Andre. I've been trying to decide if I need to level the lawn this summer, thinking I'll get a few mows in to see how it handles a lumpy yard first, but will likely be leveling. That's a great idea. It's a great idea. Another thing to keep in mind too, guys, is if you get out there and you level the lawn, you really got to be careful. You got to keep the reel mower off of it for a while until the grass truly grows through, because nothing will dull a reel mower faster than running over a bunch of sand. So another thing to keep in mind, if you're gonna level, you're kind of shutting down mowing for a while until at least the first time, until the lawn really grows through. So just something else to keep in mind. We got a super chat. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I mean, even the ideal time, especially for warm season grass, to do the top dressing and leveling, just happens to be some of the hottest months that you get. So that's icing on the cake. It's best to do it in late May, June, mid-July. But if you start to get past that, you want to make sure that the grass is going to be able to recover fast enough before fall.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I've had viewers that, against my better judgment, they've asked me, say, hey, can I level my lawn in August? I'm like, I really wouldn't. I mean, it's like it was zoysia too. I said I really wouldn't do that. It's probably not going to grow through. I mean, if you have a really hot late summer, maybe, but really like the last week of July, first week of August, that's it. That's done. You're done as far as leveling, if you want to definitely ensure that. And it's just it's also, to your point, it's the hottest time of the year as well too. So just pay someone to do it if you can afford it, and it's gonna look just as good. No one will know, and you'll want to look awesome. All right. So we got a super chat. This one from Mr. Ben Raham.
Received.
He says, Ron, Lee, Isaac, these guys are like us. Support them. Thank you so much, Ben. Hope it comes across, man. I really do enjoy. I really enjoy helping people get like awesome lawns. It's funny. I had someone from this. It was before he was really late, but I had someone from the UK give me a call. So we had our line for the store. When it was answered, they said, hey, we have someone from the UK that's calling. Can you talk to him? And I'm like, sure, I guess. And the guy had no ability to buy anything from the store, because they're in the UK. We don't ship stuff there because it's just kind of a hassle with customs and shipping costs and everything. But he generally just wanted help with answering questions about his lawn, as far as taking care of weeds and when to seed it and all this kind of stuff. And it was like, he was super appreciative that I took the time to talk to him about his lawn, because I really like, the biggest thing is for you guys to have awesome lawns, because everyone should have one. It's awesome. It's a lot of fun. It's a great sense of pride. I always say, you look at, if you walk it through a neighborhood and you see good looking lawns, you never look at a lawn that looks immaculate and think inside of the house is garbage, right? It looks like it's messy. Like having a good lawn elevates just the entire neighborhood. You just think you think better about the neighborhood, about the properties, if you take care of it. And again, it's a point of pride. So really like helping people get good, great stands of turf grass. It's a lot of fun. And the league bought a bunch of mowers, and needed wrenching. So for me, that's fun. I enjoyed it. All right. Cody Jacket says, oh, that ain't happening. What, as far as getting your wife to mow? You never know. You never know. You just gotta let her try it out. She might like it. Next up is Brave One. It's a good question. He says, Lee, join a little late. Will Real Rollers be servicing the Revolution?
We aren't currently, but I think that's something that we'll be looking to do next year for sure. This off season, I think we're going to start looking to see I think it's important. So yes, we definitely are looking that direction. Once we get through this season, I think this fall we'll start coming up with some ideas. Isaac is really big on it, and I think it's a really great idea. Traditionally, we haven't done it, but we definitely want to try to be there to be a full service shop for everybody.
Sure. That's
Great
fair.
question.
And really, as far as maintenance goes, you said there's no Zerg fitting, so it's the bearings in the mower are sealed. Outside of putting obviously the sharpening work, outside of putting like grease on, like maybe some grease on the chain, what kind of service or maintenance items do you really have? Like, it's changing the oil in the engine. I mean, what else do you really have to do on the mower?
There's really nothing else. It's really the reel. It'd be nice to bring that in house, especially for some of the future plans that we have, where we'd like to make reel service available by mail. That's something that's very, very important to me. Is being able to take your reel assembly out and be able to ship it to us and have a backup reel. It's
Sure.
important for our landscape customers. Important for our customers that don't live here locally. It'd be nice to control that and keep that in house and deliver that same speed and quality of service and cleanliness. Um, that you maybe not always get, and for our customers. So I think that's what we're really looking to do.
Cool. Well, baby steps, one thing at a time, right?
Yep.
All right. Tom Hopcamp says, new to powered reel mowers, the Revolution has it all. Where many others will push you to upgrade soon, I can see the Revolution keeping customers happy for many years. I concur, Tom. I can see
Certainly.
that.
Thanks.
T1000 says, Lee, what did you and your team do to celebrate this amazing release? Congrats. Not sleep.
Few of these.
Beer. Yeah.
No, wait, not a season. No, we haven't had a chance to celebrate yet. That is the plan next week, actually. I was just telling the guys, I was like, hey, we've been going 10 days hard on this. It's always been a dream, and we've worked so hard to get here as far as the last 8 months since we started. So everybody's really overdue for a big break. So we may shut the shop down for a couple of days and just spend a little time hanging out. I love the guys we work with, Hayes, Isaac, both my kids help, and my wife. We have such a good time. We really are enjoying every day we come here. I come here early just because I love the customers we talk to, customers we see, and then the people we work with. So they deserve a big, big break. So I'm going to look forward to giving that to them.
Nice. And then as far as like celebration from a community standpoint, this spring at some point there's going to be a turf park party, I'm thinking, right? You weren't getting out of that.
Yes.
So I got to ask,
No, I know.
when, if you had to guess, I mean, no hard date yet, but if you had to say, like, what month are we thinking about for that?
We're definitely thinking the first couple weeks in May.
Okay.
Either the first Saturday or the second Saturday in May is going to be the target. And we'll be probably announcing that here in a week or two once we get the mowers sent out. But I think that's going to be it. First week, I think it's the 4th or the 11th is what we're targeting in May.
Cool. That'd be a cool time.
And please, you guys come out. We'll have food, we'll have mowers, we'll have just a great time. It's all about just hanging out. No commitment to do anything other than just meet people and hang out. That's it.
Nice. So this is a good question. Stuart Dukakis says, what RPM should we run the GX 160 on the Revolution? Full throttle or backed off to 80 or 90%?
It's a great question. What I recommend is find that speed that you like walking. So, I have found for myself, people may not know this, but we put some slower gearing into the Revolution because some of the mowers that we looked at in the past, as we were developing the Revolution, they went really fast. And what I mean by that is if at full throttle, you have to power walk, like full speed, almost run, I feel like that's too fast. So we wanted to make the Revolution where full throttle, 100% throttle, is a fast-paced walk, but you're not a speed walker.
Gotcha.
So what we found is really to run it. I like running it personally, right about 3/4, anywhere from 50 to 3/4, because at full grounding speed, it's where I want to be to mow the yard. So I base it all off of really one of two things. One, if I'm scalping, I'm going to go full throttle and I'm going to ride the speed and go slower because I'm going through a lot of material and it's taking a lot out of the mower. But if it's a traditional green grass mow, I'm setting my RPMs based on how fast I want the top speed to be, which tends to be right there about 75%.
Gotcha. All right. So there you go. So based on your walking speed, adjust accordingly. Nice. All right. Keith Martin says, Lee, that was really cool thing to do. And Keith Martin says, this is a good one. This is, I am 6'5", about 330, old Euro football player, and I was tearing up. I was on the fence about McLean and Revolution. You don't have to guess what I'm choosing now. I love teamwork and friendship. Yeah, man. I mean, he got me. I mean, it was a good one when Hayes showed up. Literally, his brother showed up with literally. Because the thing is too, it was like deadpan too. I opened the front door and I'm like, hey Hayes. He's like, hey, what's going on? I'm like, I was thinking, I'm like, he's here, and I'm thinking, oh my god, this is not going to work. It's only 30 minutes to the live stream, and Lee's in an accident or something because it's not internet, it's not a computer. Because he would have called, what's going on? And
He thought I told you. He thought
I
I told
appreciate
you,
it,
so
man.
he didn't know either. So he showed up there thinking you knew.
No,
So I didn't tell you. So you both were looking at each other, kind of. I don't want to say
we were looking at each
dumbfounded,
other
but
like we were
confused.
crazy. Like he looked at me like I was crazy. He's like, I'm here, and I'm like, yeah. Why are you here? What's going on? And he's like, I'm here. You don't know? I'm like, no, I don't know. What am I supposed to know? He's you got it. You have no idea why I'm here. I'm like, I have no idea why you were here. Is Lee okay? He's, yeah, he's fine. I'm like, okay, well, good. So why are you here? He said, well, you gotta help me take a mower out. I said, what do you mean? He says, a mower in the back of my car. And I couldn't. Again, if you guys don't know, if you joined the live stream late, Lee, absolutely. Again, I did not go help out because I expected anything. I just really truly wanted to help make the mower a success. It was not for that. But this is what they brought by for me today before the live stream. And again, this video you're seeing literally is like less than 10 minutes before the show started. Wow. Again, incredibly grateful. I've never been given a mower before, so I don't know. I don't normally get given things that often. So I don't, again, thank you.
Thank you for helping out. You did not have to do any of that, and I was just above and beyond. It just proves what kind of person you are. So thank you.
Wrenches bolts need to turn in, man. So. All right. Jay Bear says sneaky. It was really good. Again, I was thinking the worst. And then Keith Martin says, I used Turfplex all last year and this year as well. Okay, so what? I am a Bulldogs fan, and this person is obviously a fan of some team between here and somewhere else. It's not Georgia. What does you're Ole Miss, I think, right?
Yeah,
Ole Miss. What is Ole Miss? What do you guys say? Georgia says go Dogs because it's really simple. And that's the thing. People from Alabama say Roll Tide. What does Ole Miss have?
It's Hotty Toddy.
Hotty Toddy. Okay, so Hotty Toddy is Ole Miss. Roll Tide is Bama. Okay, fine. Well, I appreciate that, Keith Martin. Here's the thing: you got great taste in fertilizer, great taste in YouTube content. We've got to fix your taste in football teams, and you can just come over one state, and you'll be so much better. But all things in time. Darren Proctor says, good evening, Ron, Lee, and the Golf Course Lawn family. I am late to the show. Lee, are you going to have an event at your store this spring or fall? My plan is to drive down to pick up a Revolution.
We will. We're going to have a turf park party the first or second Saturday in May.
Nice.
Some music, some food, some hanging out. It'll be a good time. Some mowing.
Sweet. Mowing, yep. Cornhole, maybe.
Yeah, definitely. We did that last time pretty late.
Well, cool. We got we're doing good. We got now we got the Tennessee folks. I don't know, whatever. Well, guys, gals, I think that is pretty much it. No other questions, comments. This is primarily about the Revolution tonight. Next week, we'll be back to our regularly scheduled programming on Friday night, answering your lawn care questions. We're getting into top dressing season, so all that's going to be coming up soon. Let's see here. Mike D says, Ron, you have room on your shelf for another mower. Are you going to use it? Oh, no. I can't do that. The Revolution, you got to let it eat. You got to let it eat, man. You got to put it on the turf. I would not put that. First of all, it's a lot bigger mower than the Sterling. And then second, I gotta mow with it, man. That thing, there's certain spots on my lawn that mower is going to be a perfect fit for. You're going to see content about it. Absolutely. It's going to be a workhorse. The True Cut will likely go away, and the Revolution is gonna be put to work. I'm gonna take care of it. It's gonna be, I'm gonna keep it clean and keep it nice, but it's gonna work. Absolutely gonna work. Lee, any last parting words? Anything else anyone should know? Where can, if people don't know where to find Real Rollers, where can they find you? Anything else you want to share?
No, yeah. Thanks for having me on. Again, thank you so much for helping us, turn some bolts and have the Revolution ready. Appreciate this channel. Thank you guys. If you guys have questions, feel free to call us, come by. Realrollers.com is our website. But more importantly, just know that whether you are into Revolution or into anything else, we're here to support the community. Like, we truly sell parts, design things for everybody that's a real mower enthusiast, because we are as well. So that's really the intent of what Real Rollers is, and what we're trying to make the company be is to be there for the community. So if we can ever help, whether you're buying something or not, stop by, come by, call us. We're here to support and here to help everybody if we can.
Awesome stuff. And on that bombshell, we will cue the outgo music. So guys, again, thank you guys so much for coming to hang out tonight. Lee, thanks for coming on the show. If you need your fertilizer, your fungicide, insecticide, herbicides, or just some great content on lawn care, we released a new blog today about invasive grasses. So be sure to check that out. It's a pinned comment. Check out the Golf Course Lawn Store. The team does a really good job. I'm just the guy that you guys see, but there's a team behind me that really does all the hard work and makes everything happen, at a level that I expect. So, again, thank you guys so much for the support. Thanks for taking the time to come and hang out with us this evening, and look forward to seeing you guys next week on Friday night. We'll be back at it. So take care. Have a great evening. Take care.